Chapter 1465. Yang Wu and Shu Yujun had already become husband and wife, and their relationship had long been confirmed. The Yang clan and Mount Hung sect were also alliance leaders. Mount Hung sect had supported the Yang clan many times, and it was all related to Shu Yujun. When Wang Yang saw Yang Wu, he immediately asked for help from Yang Wu, which instantly scared Yang Wu out of his seat. "What happened to Yujun?" Yang Wu said with a worried expression. Wang Yang's breathing was very messy, and his clothes were tattered and stained with blood. It was obvious that he had rushed to the Yang clan after a fierce battle and did not have time to change his clothes. The situation was probably urgent. Not long ago, our Five Mountain sect held a meeting to select a new alliance leader. During the meeting, the sect leader defeated the other sect leaders and suppressed the previous alliance leader, successfully becoming the alliance leader. However, at this time, the other sect were not convinced and felt that the sect leader had secretly learned their sword scripture. Moreover, there was a spy who said that the sect leader had obtained the Five Mountain sword scripture, and only after mastering it would he be able to seize the position of alliance leader. As a result, the other sects besieged the sect leader and wanted to force the sect leader to hand over the Five Mountain sword scripture. The sect leader naturally denied it, and even suppressed the others to continue being the alliance leader. At first, the other sects backed down, but when the left alliance leader of Mount Song sect refused to hand over the alliance leader token, he said that everything would have to wait until the situation was clear before making a fuss. Mount Song was the left alliance leader's territory, and the sect leader couldn't do anything about it. After several failed attempts, the sect leader planned to return to the sect first. Unexpectedly, the people of Mount Song, Mount Tai, and Mount Hua joined forces to besiege the alliance leader. The eldest miss was also in danger and couldn't escape. It was best if the Grand Protector rescued her, but not long ago, the Grand Protector sent a message saying that he was in danger and couldn't escape. "Where are they now?" Yang Wu asked anxiously. The Five Mountain sect had always been united, but in the past few hundred years, their relationship had gradually deteriorated, and there were already different voices. This time, the appearance of the Five Mountain Sword Sutra had completely ignited the fuse. The Five Mountain sects began to descend into chaos. The news of the Five Mountain Sword Manual definitely did not come from the mouth of Mount Hung sect. Perhaps other sects had long realized that the Five Mountain Sword Manual could be combined into one, and after Shu Yuqing turned the tables and seized first place, people with ulterior motives confirmed this conjecture. They used this as an excuse to send out a crusade against Mount Hung. Wang Yang replied. The Supreme Guardian's last message was sent in the direction of the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. Go to the Dragon Phoenix Abyss immediately. Yang Wu did not hesitate at all. He swept up Wang Yang and flew out of the hall, then called Waguna and Yu Huaijin over. The Yang family had already opened up a mountain range for the Crow tribe to live in. It was not far from the Yang family city, and Wu Guna was stationed within the Yang family city. Before Yu Huaijin obtained her complete soul, she would not be able to leave Yang Wu. She would definitely be at his beck and call. In order to hurry, Yang Wu summoned the Thunder Tribulation Cloud and quickly flew in the direction of the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. Nothing must happen to Lord Yujun, Yang Wu said anxiously. The Dragon Phoenix Abyss. This was the place where the battle between the dragon and phoenix took place a few years ago. The Supreme Guardian of Mount Hung sect, Ning Zhouzheng, brought Shu Yujun and landed in the middle of the dragon and phoenix veins. Mount Song, Mount Tai, and Mount Hua had sent out a total of 5 Immortal Ascension experts to surround them. As long as they captured the 2 of them alive, they might be able to obtain the Five Mountain Sword Manual. Mount Song's by Lin and Zhonglian, Mount Tai's Bo Jiliang and Ing Yinfei, and Mount Hua's Jin Shirong. 5 Immortal Ascension experts surrounded Ning Zhouzheng and Shu Yujun. It was definitely a big lineup. Ning Zhouzheng had no choice but to charge into the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, hoping to make them hesitate. Unexpectedly, these fellows also charged into the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. The gravity in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss was abnormal, but it could not restrict the movements of these Immortal Ascension experts. Ning Zhouzheng had been fighting continuously, and his strength was almost depleted. Moreover, he was seriously injured. If this continued, only death would await him. At this moment, they had escaped to the area where the dragon phoenix tree was. "Looks like we are doomed," Ning Zhouzheng said in despair. At this place, the dragon phoenix tree strength was astonishing, but it would not protect them. It had already sealed off the surroundings. "Ning Zhouzheng, why do you keep struggling? Hand over the 5 Mountain Sword Manual, and you won't have to suffer so much," Mount Songs by Lin said faintly. This was a tall and thin old man. His eyes were gleaming, and he wore a navy blue robe. He stroked his beard and looked high and mighty. This person's strength had reached the 5th level of the celestial pattern realm, and he was the strongest among the 5. His strength was comparable to Ning Zhouzheng's. Before this, Ning Zhouzheng's strength was not so strong. However, Yang Wu's betrothal gift contained the immortal liquid, which helped him soar to the 5th level of the celestial pattern realm. Unfortunately, compared to a veteran of the 5th level of the celestial pattern realm like Bai Lin, he was still a little lacking. Otherwise, if he wanted to escape, how would they be able to catch up? Previously, when they were surrounded, he had been able to force his way out. It was already quite impressive. "Bai Lin, we don't have the 5 Mountain Sword Manual." "Don't go too far," Ning Zhouzheng replied. "You're still quibbling even now. Let's take him down together and capture Shu Yuqing's daughter as well. I don't believe that we won't be able to find the real 5 Mountain Sword Manual after searching everyone in Mount Hung. Your Mount Song is not willing to hand over the position of Alliance Head, and you are slandering my Mount Hung. Even if I die, I will drag you down with me," Ning Zhouzheng said domineeringly, holding his broken sword. Just as they were about to make their move, Mount Hua's Jin Shirong said, "Everyone, please listen to me." After pausing for a moment, he said, "Brother Ning, you and I are brothers. I really don't want you to walk towards destruction. Mount Hung did indeed steal our Mount Hua's Western Mountain Sword Manual. Our eyes are not blind. I don't know how you guys managed to combine the chants of the 5 Mountain Sword Manual, but I hope that you guys can contribute it. This will definitely be an opportunity for our 5 mountain sects to soar. Our 5 mountain sects have always been of the same breath and branch. Otherwise, it will be broken. That's right. We don't want to annex Mount Hung. It's your Mount Hung that broke the rules and stole the sword manuals of the other 4 mountains. This matter cannot be left alone. Unless you hand over the entire 5 Mountain Sword Manual, the 5 Mountain Sect will become the 4 Mountain Sect from now on," Mount Tai's Bo Jiliang said. Without waiting for Ning Zhouzheng to reply, Shu Yujun stepped forward and said, "You stole in the open and stole in secret, yet you still make it sound so dignified. You are truly shameless." Then he continued, "I presume that your sword manuals are kept very strictly. Who would have such a great method to secretly learn them? Even if my Mount Hung obtained another complete sword manual, it would have nothing to do with you. Don't try to set up a memorial arch. I'll look down on you. You sharp-tongued girl. I'll kill you first," Mount Tai's Ing Yinfei said and attacked Shu Yujun. Ing Yinfei was the only female among the heavenly masters. Her attack was extremely vicious, and she wanted to kill Shu Yujun with a single slap. Ning Zhouzheng protected Shu Yujun and blocked Ing Yinfei's attack. At this moment, Zhong Jiliang and Bo Jiliang also made their move. These people had already sealed off the area. It would not be easy for Ning Zhouzheng to escape. At the critical moment, numerous dragon phoenix vines appeared. A faint voice rang out. "Do you want to die for messing around in my territory?" The dragon phoenix tree appeared. The power of the restriction dissipated, and a divine tree with dragons and phoenixes appeared. The dragon phoenix fruit on its body was gone, but it was still full of treasures. Everyone's eyes lit up. Everyone knew that there was a dragon phoenix tree in the dragon phoenix abyss. However, only a few people could get close to it. This time, it had taken the initiative to appear and gave everyone a big fright. Ning Zhouzheng did not hesitate to pull Shu Yujun in the direction of the dragon phoenix tree. His thoughts were simple. Even if he was killed by the dragon phoenix tree, he did not want to be caught and killed by these people. Not good. Capture them quickly. Bai Lin shouted and attacked Ning Zhouzheng first. The others also unleashed their power and attacked Ning Zhouzheng. The earth-shattering power of the heavenly masters instantly enveloped the area and the dragon phoenix tree. These heavenly masters could ignore the restrictions here, but this place was extremely dangerous. Many heavenly masters were buried here. If they dared to make such a big fuss, they would be courting death. "You are courting death," the dragon phoenix tree said. Its vines formed a dense wall of vines, and the ground opened up. A terrifying passage appeared, and a terrifying evil spirit blew out from it, blowing away all the attacks from the heavenly masters. The evil spirit floated in the air, forming a land of extinction. Even the heavenly masters could not withstand it. Everyone was shocked. They did not care about the battle and quickly retreated. The underground passage was a place of restriction, and it was also the place where the dragon phoenix tree was suppressed. The reason why the dragon phoenix tree had been suppressed here all these years was not unrelated to this passage. Roar! Yo! The cries of a real dragon and a phoenix rang out. The power of the dragon and the phoenix formed an evil spirit that rushed toward the heavenly masters. This was the power that the dragon phoenix tree could rely on. These two powers also contained an extreme evil spirit and a trace of the chi of heaven and earth. They were extremely powerful. Ning Zhouzheng was injured. In order to protect Shu Yujun, he was attacked by the dragon aura. He and Shu Yujun were sent flying. The others were lucky enough to escape and did not get killed by the dragon phoenix tree. "Ha! This is effortless. Ning Zhouzheng, let's see how you can escape." Bai Lin laughed maniacally and grabbed in the direction of Ning Zhouzheng and Shu Yujun. "Grand Elder, let's kill ourselves." Shu Yujun's expression was resolute. She knew very well that once she fell into the hands of these people, her soul would be searched and all her secrets would be gone. "Even if I die, I will protect your life." Ning Zhouzheng was still struggling to speak. Just as they were about to be captured and killed, someone rushed in their direction. Chapter 1466. Ning Zhouzheng was a level 5 Jade Moon Realm expert. Even though he was heavily injured, he was still not someone to be trifled with. He threw caution to the wind. A terrifying sword aura appeared on his body, and streaks of sword radiance shot towards those people. "You want to kill us? Let's see if you have the ability to do so." Ning Zhouzheng roared. His power was exploding, and he was even burning his life essence. Bai Lin, Zhong Jixing, Bo Jiliang, and Ing Yinfei all made their moves. Their skills were not weak, and only Jin Shirong could not bear to make a move. Jin Shirong and Ning Zhouzheng were indeed old friends, but they could not afford to lose the 5 mountain sword scripture. That was why they came to pursue Ning Zhouzheng. Although Mount Hua's sword techniques were unrivaled, they were still lacking compared to Mount Shu. If they could obtain the 5 mountain sword scripture, they would definitely be on equal footing with Mount Shu. In addition, he also wanted to know how the West Mountain sword scripture was leaked. The 5 mountain sect had only leaked the basic sword scriptures. The important chants were never leaked to outsiders, and there were various restrictions. Even if the disciples cultivated, they could only obtain the chants layer by layer. If others snatched them, they would not obtain the complete chants. Mount Hung must have obtained the chants of the sword scriptures from the 5 mountain sect. That was why they could cultivate such a unique sword technique. Otherwise, Shu Yuqing's sword technique would not be able to restrain the other sword techniques. Moreover, some people had already realized that the 5 mountain sword scriptures would combine into a supreme sword scripture. However, no one dared to say it out loud, fearing that it would cause a fight between the 5 mountain sect. Now that Mount Hung's sect had taken the lead, it was inevitable that they would be spied on. Shu Yujun, who was in the heaven-reaching battlefield, was under great pressure. She was only at the mid-level Star Rune realm. If she did not wear the divine armor, she would have been killed by the sword aura when it brushed past her. She was still unable to participate in a battle of this level. She was sent flying while vomiting blood. Ing Yinfei took the opportunity to rush towards her. "I'll capture you first. Are you afraid that old Ning will not surrender?" Ning Zhouzheng was surrounded by 4 people and could not spare time to save Shu Yujun. He tried his best to save her, but he was stabbed several times and was in danger of dying. If you dare to touch a single strand of her hair, I won't let you off even if I die. Ning Zhoujing shouted as he vomited blood. Hee, you still dare to threaten me at this point? I'll destroy her face first. Ing Yanfei sneered and bound Shu Yujun. As long as Shu Yujun came in front of her, she would scratch Shu Yujun's face. Goodbye, husband. Shu Yujun was in despair. You dare to disfigure her? Even if you die 10,000 times, it won't be enough. An earth-shattering roar sounded from not far away. In the distance, a huge crow was flying over quickly. Its speed was incomparably fast, and on its back stood a few figures. It was Yang Wu, Yu Huaijin, and Wang Yuyang who had arrived late. Ing Yanfei did not take this warning to heart. She was a second-level Jade Moon expert. How could she be threatened by others? The more she was threatened, the more she wanted to deal with Shu Yujun. No one can save you, Ing Yanfei said disdainfully and clawed at Shu Yujun's face. How dare you? Yang Wu was enraged. In the next moment, he disappeared from the crow's back. Void travel technique. In the past, when Yang Wu first entered the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, he could not even fly. This place had a natural suppressive effect. Now that he had reached the 9th-level Star Rune realm and had the power of a war god, he could ignore the suppressive effect here. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Ing Yanfei and slashed at her wrist. Yang Wu's speed was like a ghost. By the time Ing Yanfei reacted, Yang Wu's hand had already landed. Yang Wu did not hold back at all. His strength was extremely great, and his qi was incomparably sharp. He directly cut off Ing Yanfei's wrist, causing her to scream in pain. Ing Yanfei was a second-level Jade Moon expert. Her wrist was cut off by a saint. If this matter were to spread, no one would believe it. But Yang Wu did it. He could slay a god with just his physical strength. Coupled with the power of his Xian Qi, he did not fear mid-level God Realm creatures. Cutting off Ing Yanfei's arm was nothing. Yang Wu kicked out again and sent Ing Yanfei flying. If not for the fact that he wanted to appease Shu Yujun, he would have killed her already. He first held Shu Yujun in his arms and checked her aura, afraid that something would happen to her. Husband, I'm fine. Quickly go save Grand Elder Ning. Shu Yujun said anxiously. Don't worry. I'm here. He'll be fine. Yang Wu said in a low voice. In the next moment, he shouted, Take them all down. Yu Huaijin rushed over. His overlord aura spread out in all directions, scaring all the divine masters present into retracting their powers. You're behaving atrociously in my territory. You're looking down on me. The Dragon Phoenix tree appeared again. It controlled the power of a dragon and a phoenix and rushed towards Yu Huaijin. Yang Wu shouted, Dragon Phoenix tree, don't you want the immortal elixir? As soon as he finished speaking, the power of the Dragon Phoenix tree stopped. It's you? When the Dragon Phoenix tree spirit saw Yang Wu, it was surprised. Let me take care of them first. I'll catch up with you. Yang Wu replied. At this moment, Bai Lin, Zhonglian, and the others turned and ran. They did not dare to stay. An overlord-level character had descended. What do they have to fight against him? Gugu, do you think I don't exist? Waguna shouted a few times, and a frightening dark aura enveloped those people, blocking their path. Yu Huaijin stepped in the air like an ice fairy. She locked onto their auras. If they dared to move, only death would await them. Who are you? Bai Lin's face was filled with fear. It's Yang Wu of the Yang family. I've seen him once at the Dao Verification Assembly. Zhong Lian replied. When did the Yang family get to interfere with our 5 mountain sex affairs? Bo Zhiliang said unhappily. Jin Shirong did not speak. His face was calm. He did not kill Ning Zhouzheng. He did not think anything would happen to him. Ing Yanfei held her broken wrist and looked at Yang Wu with hatred. It was as if she wanted to cut the Yang family into pieces. To be able to regrow a broken wrist, one had to be at least an overlord. Ing Yanfei did not have this qualification. She used a god-tier bone-forming pill to regenerate her wrist. Ning Zhouzheng was saved. However, he was heavily injured. His body was riddled with holes. He looked really pitiful. Yang Wu brought Shu Yujun to Ning Zhouzheng. The old man smiled bitterly. You came just in time. Otherwise, I would have gone to see the King of Hell. Don't say any more. Eat the pill first. Leave the rest to me, Yang Wu said. He stuffed a healing pill into Ning Zhoujing's mouth. In addition, he poured some second-grade immortal liquid on his wounds to speed up his recovery. Shu Yujun said with heartache, "Damn this guy. He was so ruthless. How do you want to deal with them?" Yang Wu turned to Shu Yujun. "Kill them," Shu Yujun said without hesitation. "Young miss, you can't." Wang Yang rushed over and replied, "They wanted to kill us. Why can't we kill them?" Shu Yujun replied, "If we kill them, we will be violating the 5 mountains sex taboo of killing each other. When the time comes, there will be no turning back." Wang Yang said. Then, he added, "We can capture them first and resolve our Mount Hung sect crisis." "What? They've already attacked our Mount Hung?" Ning Zhoujing said in shock. The 3 major sects came together to suppress them. The situation is critical. The sect is worried about young Mrs. Safety and told me to inform young Master. Fortunately, I made it in time. Wang Yang replied. "Quick, return to the sect immediately," Ning Zhoujing said anxiously. "Capture them first," Yang Wu ordered. "Let's go. Let's see who dares to stop us." Bai Lin shouted. He used all his strength to escape. He used the fastest speed he had ever used in his life. As long as he escaped this space, he would have a chance to live. Unfortunately, he had only flown for less than 3 kilometers when a terrifying force descended and tore his back apart, directly grabbing him back. "You think you can escape from me with this little strength? You're looking down on me," Yu Huijin said lightly. The others broke out in cold sweat and did not dare to move. "Yang Wu, this is our 5 mountain sect's matter. If you interfere, our sect will not let your Yang clan off easily." Zhongli looked at Yang Wu and said, "Hee, I don't care about your 5 mountain sect's matters, but I won't allow you to deal with my wife," Yang Wu sneered. Then he said, "You all want the 5 mountain sword sutra? Don't you know that this is my betrothal gift to the Mount Hung sect?" Everyone present was instantly stunned. "Bullshit! How could the 5 mountain sword manual fall into the hands of an outsider like you?" Bo Jiliang shouted. "Believe it or not, today you hurt my wife. You have to pay the price. First, I'll cut off one of your arms," Yang Wu announced. After Yang Wu's voice fell, a few screams sounded. Yu Huijin had 5 more arms in her hand. Even Jin Shirong could not escape. "Brother Ning, I didn't want to hurt you," Jin Shirong said with a pained expression. Ning Zhoujing did not answer. Even if Jin Shirong was merciful, he was still here for the 5 mountain sword manual. "Yang Wu, you won't have a good ending for doing this. If you know what's good for you," Bo Jiliang said unrepentantly. "Kill him." "Pooh." Bo Jiliang's head flew off in an instant. His eyes widened, unable to believe this was reality. Without waiting for him to speak again, Waguna flew over and ate his head with his mouth. "The taste of a human is just so, not enough to fill the gaps between my teeth," Waguna said unhappily. The others were scared silly. Yang Wu was not joking with them. Chapter 1467. Yu Huijin sealed by Lin, Zhong Lian, Jin Shirong, and Ing Yanfei's powers. She had many tricks up her sleeve, so it wasn't hard for her to block their Dantian's power. Their faces were ashen, and they could only pray that Yang Wu wouldn't lose his mind and kill them all. "Let's go. Let's leave this place first." Yang Wu summoned Waguna and left with them. He didn't leave immediately, as he still had things to say to the Dragon Phoenix tree. Shu Yujun didn't ask any more questions. Ever since Yang Wu appeared, her heart had calmed down. "My eyes are really good," Shu Yujun said proudly in her heart. Over 10 years ago, when she fell in love with Yang Wu, she had been stubbornly following him, never leaving him. Finally, she got her reward. Yang Wu had helped her improve her strength, and he would always save her from danger at the most crucial moment. She was extremely satisfied. With such a husband, there was no need to ask for anything else. "I have urgent matters to attend to, so I won't stay for long. Do you have anything good to exchange for the immortal elixir?" Yang Wu looked at the old tree that looked like a dragon and phoenix and asked. The dragon phoenix tree spirit was stunned. It thought that Yang Wu would obediently give it the immortal elixir if he stayed. That wasn't how things were supposed to go. "Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you and rob you?" The dragon phoenix tree spirit said. Haha, if I was afraid, I wouldn't stay. Take out something good to exchange, or I'll leave. Yang Wu said calmly. This was the first time the dragon phoenix tree spirit had seen such an arrogant brat. However, he was much stronger than he was a few years ago, so he had the right to negotiate. In the past, it was only afraid of the little hay dog by his side. This time, the little hay dog wasn't here, so it seemed like it could just rob him. It hesitated for a while but didn't do so. Could it offend a youth who could casually take out a mortal elixir? Others didn't know the origin of the immortal elixir, but how could it not know? Without the immortal liquid, it would never be able to break through in its lifetime. If it could obtain another immortal liquid, it would still have room for improvement. Therefore, it could only obediently take out some divine items to trade with Yang Wu. Be it dragon phoenix fruit, dragon phoenix vine, dragon phoenix sap, etc. As long as it had something good on it, Yang Wu would take it all. However, he was unable to obtain another innate divine sword like the dragon and phoenix sword. In addition, he had also harvested a large number of holy items related to dragons and phoenixes from the territory of the dragon phoenix tree. These were all good things to supplement the Yang family. Yang Wu handed a drop of immortal liquid to the dragon phoenix tree and prepared to leave. Can you prepare a few more drops of immortal liquid for me next time? The dragon phoenix tree pleaded. It then added, I can open this void passage for you. Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and said, We'll see when the time comes. In the next moment, he quickly rushed out of the dragon phoenix abyss. There was mystic essence chi at the end of the passage, so he would definitely return. However, he couldn't appear to be in such a rush. He'd wait until the next time. Yang Wu exited the dragon phoenix abyss, mounted Waguna's back, and sped toward the Hung Mountain sect. Waguna wasn't slow at all. It could travel thousands of kilometers in a flash. If it traveled at full speed, it would also reach the Hung Mountain sect in no time. Husband, you must help the Hung Mountain sect, Shu Yujun pleaded. Don't worry. With me here, the Hung Mountain sect will be fine, Yang Wu said confidently. He didn't know that the Hung Mountain sect was already in shambles. The Hung Mountain sect was a first-rate faction. Together with the other 4 sects, it was known as the Five Mountain sect. But now, with the Five Mountain sect internal strife and the 3 sects attacking the Hung Mountain sect at the same time, the Hung Mountain sect was in a precarious situation. The Hung Mountain sect had already activated the sect-protecting divine formation. Powerful sword auras rose to the top, keeping the enemies at bay. One old man after another walked out of the sitting death pass. These are the old cards of the Hung Mountain sect. Mount Song, Mount Tai, Mount Hua, you're shameless enough. An old man said with a hoarse voice. My Hung Mountain has so many disciples, but more than half of them are dead. Is this what you call being of the same breath and branch? We can't kill each other. Today, I've learned something new. Another old man said. Looks like the Five Mountain sect's people have been corrupted. Then let's clean them up. The 4 old bastards of the Mount Hung school rushed out of the mountain protecting sword formation and started fighting with the heaven-reaching masters of the 3 major sections. The powerful master of Mount Song, Grand Preceptor Zhua, looked down at the old men of Hung Mountain and said coldly, You stole the sword manuals of the other sections. This is a heinous crime. Why don't you take the initiative to hand it over? Grand Preceptor Zhua was not afraid of these old men of the Hung Mountain sect. His strength was already at the level of an overlord. He was once the leader of the Five Mountain sect. After leaving his position, he finally reached the level of an overlord after thousands of years of bitter cultivation. In the new round of overlord competition, there would definitely be a place for him in the top 100. With the appearance of the Five Mountain Sword Manual, Grand Preceptor Zhua naturally couldn't wait to fight for it. He was the one who ordered the attack on the Hung Mountain sect. If Grand Preceptor Zhua obtained the Five Mountain Sword Manual, he would have hope of reaching the 9 Sun Realm. This was because he had learned of the existence of the Five Mountain Sword Manual from the words left behind by his ancestors. He had been collecting other sword manuals and had already obtained 3 of them. If he gathered the sword manuals of Mount Hung and Mount Hung, he would be able to complete the Five Mountain Sword Manual. With the 5 sword manuals combined, he would definitely become the strongest sword master. It would not be impossible for him to reach the supreme throne. Other than Grand Preceptor Zhua, there were 7 other masters with extraordinary strength. They came from Mount Tai in Mount Hua. A total of 8 powerful masters besieging the Hung Mountain sect. It could be said that they gave the Hung Mountain sect enough face. They didn't attack the martial artists below the level of heaven ascension. Instead, they let the people they brought deal with them. It would be a joke if the 3 major sects couldn't take down the Hung Mountain sect. Grand Preceptor Zhua, you've always been a man with wild ambitions. Many years have passed, and you've still been the same. Now that the Hung Mountain sect is the leader, you're not convinced. You even killed so many of our disciples. Today, even if we die with you, we'll drag you down with us. An old man of the Hung Mountain sect shouted. He took out his sword and shouted, "For symbols sword formation rise." At the same time, the other 3 old men in the other directions drew their swords at the same time. Their majestic aura combined together and transformed into the azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. They charged towards Grand Preceptor Zhua. For different types of sword Dao, boundless sword chi, the damage was quite shocking. When the 4 of them combined, they had the combat power to challenge an overlord. This was the true foundation of the Hung Mountain sect. You're old. This is called the 4 symbols formation. Grand Preceptors was shouted. The long sword on his back flew out. He didn't seem to have done anything, but 100,000 feet long sword light slashed down from the sky. The destructive power was incomparably shocking. The 4 symbols collided with the power of this sword, instantly causing great destruction. Rumble, rumble. Sword chi crisscrossed the sky above Hung Mountain. Wave after wave of sword waves shook in all directions. The disciples at the foot of Hung Mountain were all frightened by this terrifying power. Their legs trembled. Why is there suddenly internal strife? Is it because our sect master won the position of leader? They're not necessarily better than us. They're really damn bastards. Is our Hung Mountain going to be finished? Those goddamn bastards, let me go out and fight them. If our Hung Mountain doesn't die today, we'll definitely destroy the Song Mountain sect, Taishan sect, and Huashan sect in the future. The 4 old men of the Hung Mountain sect fought to the death with Grand Preceptor Zhua. They didn't have much time left. Now that they were fighting, they hoped to drag Grand Preceptor Zhua down from his high horse and give the Hung Mountain sect a chance to breathe. Within the sect's protective formation, Shu Yuqing gripped a divine sword. His eyes flashed with fire. You've gone too far. You've gone too far. I'm going to kill you all. This divine sword was the Southern Peak Divine Sword, the #1 divine sword of the Hung Mountain sect. With it, he could combine with the divine formation and unleash god-level combat power. Sect Master, don't be rash. We've already asked for support from our allies. As long as we persevere, they'll flee. A half-step ingress cultivator tried to persuade Shu Yuqing. With the divine formation support, I can kill 1 or 2 of them. Shu Yuqing shouted and shot into the sky. At this moment, he poured all of his power into the divine sword. The xianqi around Mount Hung instantly gushed out and gathered towards him. This was the power of fortune that the Mount Hung sect had accumulated for hundreds of thousands of years. Together with the power of the divine formation, it was like a rainbow that slashed towards the other heavenly-reaching realm cultivators. Hung Mountain is really gone. What do you think, your Shu Yuqing? Obediently hand over the 5 mountains sword manual. Otherwise, your Hung Mountain sect will be razed to the ground today. Another ingress cultivator from Mount Song shouted. The ingress cultivator from Mount Tai also said, "That's right. How dare you steal the sword manuals of our sections? You deserve to die." As they spoke, rays of sword chi burst out from their bodies. Everyone's sword Dao was different. The power of their slashes was also different. Some were like the mountain sword Dao, while others were like the raging fire sword Dao. Their overwhelming power blasted towards Shu Yuqing. You worthless bastards. You want to destroy my Hung Mountain? Try again in your next life. Shu Yuqing slashed out with stunning power. The blue light transformed into the Mount Hung sword, crushing and crashing towards them. Boom! Boom! The sword chi kept crisscrossing, and the clouds were all cleared. The falling sword chi flattened the mountains that were not protected by the divine formation. Many creatures in the distance kept running, not daring to get close to this place at all. Even the Whitewater clan, who was not too far away, did not dare to act rashly. A battle of this level was no longer something they could participate in. Shu Yuqing was only at the high-level star pattern realm. Today, he was borrowing the power of the divine formation to fight. Although he had unleashed a very strong battle strength, there were a total of 7 ingress cultivators on the other side. He could not do anything to them. He could not even kill a single one of them. His connection with the divine formation was also cut off. He was shocked. Oh no! He had flown too high, and his connection with the divine formation was too weak. That was why others had taken advantage of him. Haha, you delivered yourself to me. Let's see where you can run to. The ingress cultivator of Mount Song laughed wildly and grabbed at Shu Yuqing. Just as Shu Yuqing was in despair, the cry of a crow rang out. Caw! Chapter 1468. Shu Yuqing was already in despair. Their Mount Hung sect had many allies, but distant water couldn't put out a nearby fire. It was too difficult for them to rush over to help. Besides, some of their allies would probably pretend not to know when they heard that Mount Hung was in trouble. Mount Hung had already sent people to ask for help, but no one had come after so long. He had already expected this. It's all my fault. If it weren't for this position, I wouldn't have leaked the news of the 5 mountain sword manuals so early. In 100 or 1,000 years, this news would be exposed again. Even if they worked together, they wouldn't be able to do anything to us. Damn it. Shu Yuqing was incomparably vexed. Originally, after Yang Wu had passed it to Shu Yujun, he didn't want her to tell anyone in the Mount Hung sect. In the end, she had told her father. Shu Yuqing had successfully obtained the position of alliance leader, so naturally, he had cultivated the 5 mountain sword manual. Prematurely revealing the existence of the 5 mountain sword manual had led to this fatal disaster. Just as he thought he was going to die, a huge crow flew over. It spat out a black arrow from its beak, shooting towards the immortal ascension expert who was about to capture him. The crow's strength was shocking, and the arrow's power was terrifying. It scared the immortal ascension expert so much that he quickly retreated. However, the black arrow still shot towards him, scaring him. Just as the arrow was about to land on him, a sword light flashed, cutting it down. Where did this beast come from? The man with the golden sword shouted. This man's background was not small. He was one of the Taishan sect's grand enforcers, He Chenji. He was an expert who had been accumulating strength for a long time. In the past, he had been a nobody. Only after killing a peak sane on the bounty list did people learn of the Taishan sect's existence. Later, he had risen to the Jade Moon realm, and now he was a 4th-level Jade Moon. He was one of the candidates for the position of Overlord. Other than the Grand Tutor's Wa, he was the most eye-catching person. The crow replied, I am your ancestor. You're courting death. Hichinji shouted, raising his golden sword and slashing at the crow. An incomparably stunning sword light pierced through the air. The golden light was filled with a sharp killing intent. Anyone who touched it would die. At the Jade Moon realm, one could possess the power of a full moon. Hichin's sword moon descent was an astonishing sight. This crow was not any weaker than him. It turned into a black light and dodged his sword energy, heading straight for Shu Yuqing. You want to save him? No way. Hichinji could sense Crow's intentions, and he changed the direction of his sword to attack Shu Yuqing. There was no way Shu Yuqing could escape. There were still a few omnipotent realm warriors surrounding him. You're too slow. Waguna raised its speed to the limit. With a provocative cry, it broke through the other reaching heaven's line of defense and saved Shu Yuqing. When it saved Shu Yuqing, the golden sword chi would land on its body. A claw tore through the void and descended, crushing the power of the sword into pieces. The claw had appeared so suddenly that He Chunji couldn't react in time. By the time he realized it, his attack had already disappeared. What? He Chunji cried out. His power was comparable to a level 5 Jade Moon, but it had been torn apart by a single claw. The newcomer had to be stronger than him. Father-in-law, your son-in-law is late, a calm voice said softly. Shu Yuqing, who had landed on the crow's back, came back to his senses. He saw an outstanding youth standing on his back. He was like the son of God, with an awe-inspiring, celestial air about him. Yang Wu. Shu Yuqing wondered if his eyes were playing tricks on him, or if he was seeing things. It wasn't the first time he'd seen Yang Wu. For some reason, seeing him now gave him a completely different feeling. No, it should be said that every time he saw Yang Wu, he had a completely different feeling. Each time he saw Yang Wu, he was more outstanding than the last. His aura was shockingly changing, becoming more perfect and dazzling. Without waiting for Yang Wu's reply, Shu Yujun's voice rang out. "All right, father. Are you all right?" Shu Yuqing's gaze finally landed on his daughter beside Yang Wu. After confirming that it was her, he said excitedly, "Hurry and leave. Mount Song, Mount Tai, and Mount Hua have joined forces against Mount Hung. Even that Grand Tutor Zhua has come. The old protectors may not be able to stop him." Shu Yuqing's mind was still clear. He wasn't excited about being rescued. Instead, he immediately reminded his daughter and son-in-law to leave. An overlord-level expert wasn't someone they could fight against. "Father-in-law, don't worry. Your son-in-law came to help. How can I leave? Just watch us from now on." After saying this, Yang Wu jumped off Waguna's back. "Waguna, protect the mistress and my father-in-law. Huaijin, you go deal with that Grand Tutor Zhua. Leave the others to me." "How can Ning Zhouzhang be left out for those who offend Mount Hung?" Ning Zhouzhang shouted. He quickly charged out to deal with Yi Chunji and the others with Yang Wu. Bai Lin, Zhong Lian, Jin Shirong, and Ing Yanfei were bound to Waguna's body. They weren't used as hostages to threaten the other party. This was Yang Wu's idea. Ever since he'd reached the 9-star rune realm, he hadn't had a good fight with an immortal ascension cultivator. These people were perfect for practice. "Ning Zhouzhang, you're actually still alive?" Yi Chunji asked in surprise when he saw Ning Zhouzhang. "Are you surprised?" Ning Zhouzhang asked in return. "Where Grand Elder Bai and the others?" Yi Chunji asked solemnly. They're already waiting for you in hell." Ning Zhouzhang laughed coldly. He took the initiative to attack Yi Chunji. Along the way, he'd already recovered from his injuries and strength. It was enough to deal with Yi Chunji. "Bulsh *T. I'll take you down and interrogate you properly." Yi Chunji's realm wasn't as high as Ning Zhouzhang's, but he wasn't afraid of him. Just as he was about to face him, another immortal ascension cultivator came over and said, "Let's join forces and take him down." This immortal ascension cultivator came from Hua Mountain. His strength wasn't any weaker than Ning Zhouzhang's. At the same time, Yang Wu was also facing off against the immortal ascension cultivators. Other than the Grand Tutor Zhua, there were a total of 7 immortal ascension cultivators. They sealed off the area around the Mount Hung sect, not allowing anyone from the Mount Hung sect to go out and ask for help. 2 of them were dealing with Ning Zhouzhang, 3 of them sealed off the area, and 2 of them were free to deal with Yang Wu. These 2 were Chun Yungao from the Mount Song sect and Tam of Wei from the Hua Mountain sect. One was at the 2nd level of the Jade Moon realm, while the other was at the 1st level of the Jade Moon realm. Their strength was relatively weaker, but it was enough to deal with Yang Wu. Yang Wu, the patriarch of the Yang family, the youngest divine apothecary in history. Why do you have to involve yourself in the matters of the 5 Mountains sect? If you leave now, you can still live. Chun Yungao was an old man, and he warned Yang Wu with a hoarse voice. "You're already so old. It's better for you to go home and rest. This kind of power struggle isn't suitable for an old man like you to participate in. Otherwise, you won't have a good ending." Yang Wu retorted sarcastically. "Sai, if you don't listen to my kind words, then a divine apothecary is destined to fall today. It's really a tragedy for the transcendence." Chun Yungao sighed softly and suddenly attacked. One-finger sword. He pointed a finger at Yang Wu, and a sword ray shot towards Yang Wu. This was his innate strength. The speed of his finger was shockingly fast, and it was also incomparably sharp, making it difficult to guard against. At the same time, Tam of Wei, who was in another direction, also attacked. She directly drew her sword, and a green sword ray fell like a meteor, landing on Yang Wu in the blink of an eye. These two were indeed omnipotent experts. They cooperated quite well. It was fine if they didn't attack, but if they did, it would be fatal. They wouldn't be careless just because Yang Wu was at the Star Rune realm. For Yang Wu to be able to become a divine apothecary, he definitely had the strength of a divine apothecary. He was a monster that couldn't be judged by common sense. After training in the divine firmament battlefield, Yang Wu returned to the transcendence world. He was restrained, and his combat strength had become unfathomable. The attacks of these two people might be very strong in the eyes of others, but to him, they were nothing. He raised two fingers and slashed out in two different directions. "I'll let you have a taste of the power of the magnetic sword finger," said Yang Wu, as he slashed out two magnetic sword fingers. The magnetic force was incomparably powerful. With a slash of the sword, it cut off Chun Yungao's sword fingers and even fell towards Chun Yungao. The other finger cut off Tan of Wei's sword chi. The magnetic force was much stronger than her sword chi. Uft, uft. The two of them didn't expect Yang Wu's combat strength to be so powerful. They were injured by Yang Wu's magnetic sword. Tan of Wei was weaker, so she didn't even have the ability to dodge Yang Wu's sword finger. Her divine armor was broken, and the magnetic force directly pierced through her chest. Such powerful strength. Tan of Wei covered her wound and retreated frantically, exclaiming in her heart. This sword had already injured her internal organs. If she hadn't reached the Jade Moon realm and had tenacious vitality, this sword would have taken her life. On the other side, Chun Yungao wasn't having a good time either. His shoulder was almost cut off by this sword. Fortunately, he dodged quickly. "You're so arrogant with just this bit of strength. I don't know where you get your confidence from," said Yang Wu as he opened his palm. The terrifying power of a tsunami enveloped the two of them. The other three Tongtian experts who were sealed off in different directions all revealed looks of shock. The commotion Yang Wu had caused was too great. It was difficult for them not to notice him. "Not good. This kid is too powerful. We have to take him down," cried another Tongtian. "That's right. Otherwise, we'll be defeated one by one." "Call for divine weapons," said another person in the south. "Chun Yingao and Tan of Wei are really trash. I can take him down alone." Riding on a tiger demon in the north, the Tongtian roared and charged at Yang Wu. This was a Tongtian expert on the same level as He Chenji. He was Mount Song's consecrated divine swordsman, Huang Jizi. Chapter 1469. The divine swordsman, Huang Jizi, was once a rogue cultivator who had obtained a fortuitous encounter. After cultivating to the pinnacle of the Saint realm, he found it difficult to make any further progress. Later on, in order to break through to the Jade Moon realm, he joined the Mount Song sect and cultivated the Middle Mountain Sword Scripture. Finally, he broke through to the Jade Moon realm with his talent and perseverance. After thousands of years of cultivation, he continued to raise his realm and reached the 4th level of the Jade Moon realm. Even today, he was only a consecrator of the Mount Song sect in name and had yet to become the sect's supreme protector. The reason was that he was extremely ambitious and wasn't willing to stay in the sect. He wanted to create a career for himself while he was still alive. Unfortunately, with imperial tutors were around, he didn't have the guts to do so. This time, he found out about the existence of the 5 Mountain Sword Scripture and was moved. If he could obtain it, he might be able to soar to the heavens and break away from the Mount Song sect in the future. For the 5 Mountain Sword Scripture, he naturally had to risk his life. As expected of the divine swordsman, he rode out on his tiger demon and slashed at Yang Wu with the shadowless sword in his hand. Bursts of untraceable sword shadows sealed off the sky for tens of thousands of miles. Moreover, they were constantly compressing, wanting to turn Yang Wu into a pool of blood. Yang Wu's tsunami palm enveloped Chun Yungao and Tan of Wei. The omnipresent palm imprints landed on the two of them, causing their divine bodies to explode. Yang Wu's fighting strength was too powerful, far surpassing the fighting strength of any celestial mark realm cultivator. The tsunami he formed had a terrifying tearing power. Tan of Wei felt helpless and panicked in the middle of the tsunami. How many years had it been since she had encountered such an encounter? Except when she was young, her strength wasn't enough. She only felt fear when she met a stronger opponent. His strength can't be so terrifying. I can definitely break through. Break for me. Tan Wei didn't want to die. She shouted in her heart and erupted with all her strength. Boundless sword chi crisscrossed. Wisps of green sword chi sank into the tsunami. Unfortunately, this little bit of strength was swept away by the tsunami. Even she couldn't control her body and was smashed into pieces by the merciless power of the palm. How was this the fighting strength of a celestial mark realm cultivator? The strength of a mid-level Jade Moon realm cultivator was only this much. Chen Yingao also had the same feeling of fear. After being slapped a few times, he was instantly stunned. One palm strike had shattered his divine body, one palm strike had sunk into his organs, and one palm strike had destroyed his meridians. His explosive power was like child's play in front of the other party. His tempered divine body was like a piece of paper that couldn't even withstand a single blow. Just as he was about to die, Huang Jizi's sword energy broke apart Yang Wu's tsunami power, reducing the pressure on him. Just as he thought he could escape death, a power bound his body and threw him toward the incoming yellow sword energy. No! Chen Yingao's eyes widened as he screamed. However, the outcome that awaited him did not change. His body and soul were obliterated by the powerful sword chi. Huang Jizi was furious. Yang Wu, you dare to kill me? You won't have a chance to live today. Roar. Suddenly, the mount he sat on roared angrily. The terrifying tiger's roar rushed toward Yang Wu's divine court. In addition, there was also a murderous aura floating. Waves of powerful demonic aura enveloped Yang Wu, causing him harm. The power of Huang Jizi's sword Dao and the murderous aura of the tiger demon's tiger's roar were extremely destructive. No matter who the opponent was, it would be difficult to resist. Yang Wu felt Huang Jizi's combat strength. Not only was he not afraid, he became even more excited. This is the kind of pressure I want. He ignored the tiger's roar. A mere tiger's roar was not enough to harm his soul. He absorbed the power of the stars from the 9 heavens. The majestic power of the stars continued to converge, forming an incomparably huge star power on his body. It was already comparable to the power of a jade moon. Tsunami palm. It was the same palm strike again. The power of the stars formed a vast ocean, sweeping up thousands of waves. The terrifying tsunami power collided with the waves of sword energy and murderous aura. Rumble, rumble. The profound energy of heaven and earth splashed continuously. Every strand of profound energy was like a meteor streaking across the sky, forming a meteor shower. It was incomparably beautiful and gorgeous. The power of Yang Wu's tsunami palm was astonishing. It shattered the sword energy, but his palm force could not break through Yang Wu's attack. The power of the opponent's sword Dao was too terrifying. The power of the stars in the sky gathered in the sword Dao and shattered Yang Wu's palm force again and again. For the first time, the two of them were evenly matched. No one was more shocked than Huang Jizi. He thought that Yang Wu was strong because he was only at the 3rd level of the Jade Moon Realm. Who would have thought that he could even block his 4th level of the Jade Moon Realm? Could Yang Wu be the reincarnation of the Yang clan's ancestor? Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? His realm clearly seemed to be at the Star Rune realm. How could his combat strength be so abnormal? No one could imagine. Again, Yang Wu was excited. With a shout, he struck out with his palm again. He cultivated profound energy of water, and the power of the stars he absorbed was constantly converted into water energy. The endless power kept surging, and the merciless tsunami was enough to destroy everything. He raised his strength by another level, wanting to rely on pure strength to suppress Huang Jizi. Huang Jizi also raised his strength again. The sword in his hand burst forth with merciless sword energy, but every sword was vigorous and powerful. It broke through layers of space, making it difficult to block. The power of the tsunami destroyed the sword energy, and the sword energy cut through the sea. This shocking phenomenon caused the disciples of the Mount Hung sect to be incomparably shocked. Is it really the son-in-law fighting the opponent? Other than the son-in-law, who else could it be? So powerful. This time, our Mount Hung is saved. So I didn't approve of the son-in-law. He has the eldest miss, but he still went to seduce the saintess of the purple firmament hall. Today I admire him. Who told him to be so capable? I'd rather the son-in-law take the eldest miss away. Don't forget that Grand Preceptor's Wa of Mount Song is still there. Who can deal with him? No matter what, we have to fight to the end. Unless they annihilate us all, we'll definitely get our revenge in the future. They couldn't see the scene of the battle. They could only see the fluctuations, but that level of battle was already enough for them to look up to. Yang Wu and Huang Jizi fought speed with speed. Each wave of their attacks was stronger than the last. Yang Wu no longer used the tsunami palm. He turned his palm into a fist. The fist energy of savage beast was sometimes like a savage bull, sometimes like a savage tiger, sometimes like a savage elephant. Its power was incomparably shocking. Huang Jizi's swordsmanship was also shocking. His mount, the tiger demon, could also participate in the battle. The sword and tiger worked together to tear through space, wreaking havoc in this part of the world. It was difficult to calm down for a long time. Yang Wu's attacks were still broken. The combat power of a mid-level Jade Moon Realm cultivator was too strong. Even if he had the ability to fight above his level, it was too difficult to defeat him without using a divine weapon. The Emperor Jade profound armor covering Yang Wu's body was also shattered. His back was furiously clawed by the tiger demon. A deep wound appeared on his back, so deep that his bones could be seen. Waguna, who was watching from afar, shouted, "Master, smash his balls with the ancestral shield." Once Yang Wu activated the cauldron shield, even a high-level deity could be suppressed. He didn't want to do this. He only wanted to test his current strength. He decided not to use a divine weapon. "I'm done playing. I'll use you to test my void technique." Yang Wu shouted and escaped into the void. Void travel technique. Void hand. The greatest advantage of the void travel technique was that it allowed one to enter a crack in the void, making it impossible for others to determine the location of the existence. Warriors who didn't understand the void would be unable to discover the person who escaped into the void. They would then be mercilessly attacked. The void hand was also a method of attacking through the void. It attacked from a distance, making it impossible to guard against. After Yang Wu used his void technique, Huang Jizi was caught off guard. He lost track of Yang Wu and was slapped off the tiger demon's back. Without waiting for him to recover, Yang Wu used another killing move. The Netherworld Ice Wing Blade came slashing out. Puffed. The tiger demon did not even have time to react before its body was sliced into two halves. Furthermore, an icy aura swept over its body and froze it. The aura of the Netherworld even robbed it of its best chance of survival. All of this happened too quickly. It gave Huang Jizi a big fright. "Yang Wu, get the hell out here." Huang Jizi seemed to have gone mad. He waved his sword, forming a powerful mountain-shaped sword domain. It shattered the space within tens of thousands of miles, trying to force Yang Wu out. No one could underestimate the power of a Jade Moon powerhouse, not even Yang Wu. After the space within tens of thousands of miles was shattered, Yang Wu was forced out of the void. He had the Emperor Jade battle armor inside and the Black Tortoise battle armor outside. He forcibly blocked Huang Jizi's attacks and continued to close in on him. "Yang Wu, I'll kill you." Huang Jizi was furious. His mount had accompanied him for many years, but now it was being slaughtered by Yang Wu. He couldn't tolerate this. Futu greatsword style. Huang Jizi raised his sword with both hands. A majestic power gathered. The power of the stars and the 9 heavens descended, forming a full moon. It then turned into a surging sword energy. Finally, the 10,000 swords merged into one, forming a sword technique that could slay gods and demons. It slashed down on Yang Wu. This terrifying divine sword technique was also Huang Jizi's strongest move. When this move appeared, heaven and earth seemed to be split open. It caused a terrifying commotion. Yang Wu felt the power of this sword. A black and white lotus appeared above his head. He shouted, "One move to decide the victor, the Tao of life and death." Chapter 1470. The Tao of Life and Death was born after death. The cycle of life and death was only a fine line between life and death. Yang Wu had wandered in the void crack for a period of time, meditating on the Tao of life and death. His understanding of the Tao of life and death had deepened. The Tao of life was derived from the divine Tum Qi. It devoured the vitality of all things in the world to strengthen one's own vitality. That was not enough. It also needed the endless power in the body. He had an immortal body and had immortal qi. He had the talent to self-heal. This was the immortal qi of life, the foundation of the Tao of life. The Tao of death was the martial path he had cultivated long ago. He understood the fear and despair of death. Life was fleeting. No one could resist it. The combination of life and death formed the Tao of life and death. Life and death were only a matter of thought. When the black and white lotus appeared, the sun and moon appeared at the same time. Yin and yang intersected. Lotuses bloomed with every step. Layers of death qi were formed. The Futu greatsword broke through the air and collided with the black and white lotus. Instantly, an incomparably terrifying power was stirred up. The space within a radius of 100,000 miles was constantly shattered, turning into a chaotic space. Rumble, rumble. Wave after wave of power collided endlessly. Deafening sounds rang out continuously. It was as if the world was about to collapse. The huge sword light slowly shattered. The black and white lotus was also shrinking. However, the residual power was very great. The divine Tum Qi devoured the opponent's vitality. The death Qi corroded the opponent's vitality. The two sides attacked simultaneously, stealing Huang Jizi's vitality. After reaching the divine realm, Huang Jizi's vitality was incomparably long. However, under the deprivation of these two powers, his vitality was rapidly fading. He was frightened. He felt the threat of the death energy. It was as if he had reached the end of his life in the blink of an eye. The black and white lotus enveloped him. He wanted to retreat and break the bindings, but he could not do so. Yang Wu had become the king of this domain. He controlled Huang Jizi's life and death. Carrying the boundless death qi, he attacked Huang Jizi. Starlight. Bang! Yang Wu performed the astral fist. A fist of boundless light shrouded the world. It also shrouded Huang Jizi's body. His vitality was in extremely low point. His mind was in chaos. This fist completely destroyed his spirit and life. The black and white lotus exploded. Only endless starlight scattered. The sky slowly calmed down. There was only one figure floating on the ground. The other figure was nowhere to be found. Where is Huang Jizi? He was killed? The Empyrean powerhouse, sealed in the distance, said with a look of shock. He's finished. This Yang Wu is too scary. Hurry up and kill him while he's down. Another person said as he prepared to attack Yang Wu. However, at this moment, the two immortal ascendants of the Mount Hung school who had gone out rushed back. You pieces of trash destroy my Mount Hung. We will not rest until you are dead. Someone roared. Another person called out, My Mount Hung has always been kind to others. You animals can't distinguish right from wrong and kill my Mount Hung disciples. This is unforgivable. The two heavenly masters had rushed back after receiving an urgent message. No matter what, Mount Hung was still a veteran faction. How could it not have a few young and strong, heavenly-reaching experts? After their return, the people of the Mount Hung sect saw hope for survival. As for the immortal ascendants who had come with grand tutors, they panicked. They had only sent a few people. They were relying on grand tutors with strength. As long as they could quickly suppress the old bastards of the Mount Hung school, victory would be in their grasp. Who knew that someone would come out of nowhere and ruin their plans? The two immortal ascendants and the one surrounding Ning Zhouzheng didn't plan on fighting to the death. They rushed in Grand Tutor's direction. As long as Grand Tutors won, they would still win this battle. They were very confident in Grand Tutor's. He was the number one person of the 5 mountain sects. How could he not take down those old bastards? When they arrived near Grand Tutor's battlefield, they were completely dumbfounded. The number one person of the five mountain sects, Grand Tutorswa, was being beaten to a pulp. Grand Tutorswa was at the 7th level of the Jade Moon realm. He had the strength of a high-level heavenly reaching expert. He was ranked among the strongest in the transcendental world. There were no more than 200 people who could defeat him. He was publicly recognized as the number one person of the five mountain sects. Only a reclusive old monster from Mount Hua had the qualifications to fight him. No one else had the qualifications. If he personally led the battle, it wouldn't be too difficult to take down Mount Hung. Now it seemed that they had been overthinking things. That foreign woman was very strong. She was easily dealing with Grand Tutorswa. She didn't even take him seriously. This contrast was too hard for them to accept. What are you waiting for? Come and help me. Grand Tutors was since the arrival of others and couldn't help but shout. Not only did the others not help, they quickly fled. Grand Tutors, we won't be of much help even if we go. I will withdraw from the fight for the five mountain sword manual, Hichinji said and immediately fled. I don't want it either, another person said. The others made the same choice. They were not as strong as Grand Tutorswa. How could they help him? Once they joined, they would only be cannon fodder and wouldn't be of much help. Grand Tutorswa was also anxious. He had no choice but to summon the divine sword of Mount Song. He became one with the sword and slashed out a stunning strike, breaking through Yu Huijin's blockade. He transformed into a sword beam and fled. Interesting, Yu Huijin said. Yu Huijin said. A scimitar appeared in his hand, and he slashed towards Grand Tutors. The scimitar was like the moon, cold light thousands of miles away. Grand Tutors will let out a miserable cry, leaving behind an arm. Blood splattered across the sky. He continued to flee with all his might, afraid that he would lose his life if he was too slow. The number one person of the five mountain sect, Grand Tutorswa, had been defeated. He had been utterly defeated. Yu Huijin chased after him. Yang Wu ignored him. If he could get rid of the number one person of the five mountain sects, it would be a good thing for him to reach the top of Mount Hong. As for the other heavenly reaching experts, they were no longer a threat. It was just that Yang Wu hadn't had his fill yet. If the dead Huang Jizi knew what Yang Wu was thinking, he definitely wouldn't have challenged Yang Wu alone. This guy was too much of a freak. The heavenly reaching experts retreated, taking their men with them. Those who didn't make it in time were killed by Ning Zhouzheng and two other heavenly reaching experts. They had launched a large-scale attack on Mount Hung. How could they not pay a certain price? The Mount Hung sect held on. They looked at the sorry state around them, but their mood didn't improve at all. The Five Mountain sect was going to fall apart from today onwards. Once the Five Mountain sect was separated, they would no longer be able to compete with the other superpowers. They couldn't care less about that now. They had to think about what to do next. Shu Yuqing and the other heavenly reaching experts returned to the sect's meeting hall. Yang Wu had to avoid suspicion and couldn't participate, but Shu Yuqing called him over. The other heavenly reaching experts of the Mount Hung sect didn't mind. After all, it was Yang Wu who had saved their sect. It didn't matter if he came over to listen. After entering the hall, the first to speak wasn't Shu Yuqing, but Ning Zhouzheng. He said, Mount Hung is in trouble today. It's all thanks to young Master Yang Wu coming to help. I thank young Master on behalf of all of Mount Hung. Ning Zhouzheng was a level 5 Jade Moon cultivator. Him kneeling to Yang Wu was enough to represent Mount Hung. Even sect leader Shu Yuqing couldn't compare. Yang Wu quickly stopped Ning Zhouzheng. Elder Ning, you can't be like this. Since you call me young master, then I'm half a member of Mount Hung. Also, this matter is related to me. I can't just stand by and watch. What did you say? You have something to do with the Mount Hung sect? A heavenly reaching expert of Mount Hung shouted. This was the heavenly reaching expert Xie Zhanjuan who had rushed back from outside. His strength was only one level lower than Ning Zhouzheng's. Before Ning Zhouzheng obtained the immortal elixir and broke through, this Xie was the stabilizing force of the Mount Hung sect. Zhanjuan, don't make a fuss over nothing. Listen to me carefully. Ning Zhouzheng stopped Xie Zhangong from flipping out, then calmly told him the whole story. He had long been aware of the Five Mountains Sword Sutra and had been cultivating it. The Five Mountains Soar Manual really does exist. Could the legends be true? Xie Zhangjun exclaimed. Another heavenly reaching expert also said in a low voice, "No wonder Grand Preceptor Zwa came out of seclusion. I'm afraid there's no one in the Five Mountains sect who wouldn't be jealous." Yes, young master can't be blamed for this. We were too anxious. Ning Zhouzheng sighed. Shu Yuqing took the initiative to apologize and said, "If I didn't covet the position of alliance leader, this wouldn't have happened. It's my fault. I'm willing to bear the blame." "No, Yuqing, you're already the alliance leader of the Five Mountains. You've brought honor to our Mount Hung. Ever since our old sect leader won the position of alliance leader 5,000 years ago, our Mount Hung has never been able to be the alliance leader. You've brought honor to our Mount Hung," Ning Zhouzhen said. "Then what should we do next?" Shu Yuqing also didn't know what to do. The Five Mountains sect had always been united. Now that this had happened, it would be difficult for them to work together again. "Let's seal the sect," an old heavenly reaching expert said in a low voice. "That's right. After this battle, we will all die. Seal the sect for 100 years. After 100 years, you will all have some success in your cultivation and won't be afraid of the other sections." Another old heavenly reaching expert said. There were a total of 4 old heavenly reaching experts. They had always been in seclusion, hanging on to their last bit of life force. After the battle with Grand Preceptor Zwa, 2 of them had completely fallen. Only the 2 of them were left. Their lives had come to an end, and they no longer had the strength to protect Mount Hung. After they died, Mount Hung still had Ning Zhouzheng, Xie Zhangjun, and the other heavenly reaching experts. However, compared to the other 3 sects, they were still too weak. If Grand Preceptor Zwa didn't die, they would definitely be finished. As long as Grand Preceptor Zwa is dead, we don't need to seal the sect. Ning Zhouzhen glanced at Yang Wu and said, "They only hope that the woman who came with Yang Wu could kill Grand Preceptor Zwa. I think we should let the 2 Grand Elders recover their vitality first before we talk about the rest." Yang Wu said and took out 2 drops of immortal liquid. These 2 drops of immortal liquid can help the other 2 Grand Elders live a little longer. Shu Yuqing and Ning Zhouzheng's eyes lit up. They both knew that this immortal liquid was extraordinary. "Young master, we appreciate your kindness. Our lifespans have come to an end. Any divine items are useless." "Don't, it's useful." Chapter 1471. When Yang Wu gave the Mount Hung sect a betrothal gift to marry Shu Yujun, he gave them 3 drops of immortal elixir. Shu Yuqing and Ning Zhouzheng had heard about the extraordinary effects of the immortal elixir, but they did not believe it. After each of them took a drop, they realized that Yang Wu was telling the truth. Shu Yuqing's strength had increased exponentially, and Ning Zhouzheng had also broken through to the next realm. Both of them had gained enough benefits to realize that the immortal elixir was indeed an item with the word immortal in it. They only had 1 drop of immortal elixir left, and they did not offer it to the 4 old farts who were in seclusion. It was not that they did not want to hide it, nor was it that they did not want to save them. It was just that they only had 1 drop left, and they could only save it for a critical moment. Perhaps it should be given to Xie Zhangjun to break through to the next realm. After all, Xie Zhangjun's lifespan was longer than the 4 old farts. For the sake of the sect, they still kept the last drop of immortal elixir. Now, Yang Wu offered to give them 2 more drops of immortal elixir. How could they refuse? Shu Yuqing did not hesitate to snatch the 2 drops of immortal elixir from Yang Wu. He handed them to the 2 Grand Elders and said, "Grand Elders, whether it is useful or not, you should drink it first. There is no point in saying more. Sai, I know you're a filial, but this divine elixir is really not very useful. It is better to leave it for you." One of the old farts sighed softly. "That's right. We have lived long enough. We cannot waste any more of the sect's resources," the other old farts said. They only thought about the sect. It was obvious how deep their feelings for the sect were. Grand Elders, don't refuse anymore. If the young master can take it out, he must have some hidden goods. Try it first. Ning Zhouzheng also persuaded them. The 2 old farts took the 2 drops of immortal elixir skeptically. Then the lethargy on their bodies instantly shrunk, and their vitality increased rapidly. It gave them a big fright. This power is so strong. It is not an ordinary divine elixir. Could it really be a divine elixir? My lifespan is increasing. After each of them said this, they rushed toward the seclusion room. They were so fast that everyone else was stunned. The effect is that obvious? Xie Zhanjuan and the other Grand Elders' eyes flashed with surprise. If the two Grand Elders also want it, as long as you take out something of equal value, we can also exchange it. Yang Wu looked at them and said. Xie and Grand Elders' eyes widened, and they did not react for a moment. Let's switch, Ning Zhouzhang said before the two of them could reply. But the old farts was Zhozhozhozhojin and Zhuzhausing Zhozhong. If Zhozhozhozhojong, Zheng, Zhozhong, Zhuzhausing, it, do, Zhuz do, Zhano the he, the Zh. Furthermore, immortal elixirs were priceless in the transcendental realm. Others might want to trade, but he might not be willing to do so. It was still unknown if Mount Hong could take out a divine item of equal value. He only said this because he did not want them to think that there was such a thing as a free lunch in this world. Yang Wu suggested that they take out some divine medicines and saintly medicines in exchange. As a divine alchemist, he could use them. Hung Shan didn't have any objections and went to collect these medicinal ingredients as quickly as possible. Afterwards, they returned to the original topic of whether or not Mount Hong should be sealed off. It was also at this time that Yu Huaijin returned. She actually failed to catch Grand Tutor Zhua. Yang Wu frowned and said, "You are stronger than him. Why did you let him escape?" Yu Huaijin replied, "Honestly, his divine sword's level is not low. When he burned his life to escape, I couldn't stop him. However, he was heavily injured by me. He won't be able to recover to his peak state in a short period of time." Then let's leave it at that for now," Yang Wu replied softly. Then he said to everyone present, "Grand Tutor Zhua was not killed, but I am no longer a threat. Moreover, father-in-law took the position of Alliance head. We should not give it up. We should suppress them and take back the position of Alliance head. Once the mountain is sealed off, it will be difficult to wash away the shame of Mount Hong. Moreover, the 5 mountain sects will disappear. In the future, all the crimes will be placed on the Mount Hong sect. What are some crimes? As long as Mount Heng's disciples can survive, we will have a chance to rise again." Xie Zhanjuan said, "I feel that young master's words are reasonable. If we retreat this time, our Mount Hong sect will have to withdraw from the stage of the transcendental realm. This will greatly affect the cultivation of the Mount Hong sect's disciples." Another heavenly master said, "Grand Tutor Zhua is heavily injured and we have hostages. If they don't recognize you as Alliance head, we will kill all of the hostages." Ning Zhouzheng replied with a ruthless expression. "Killing a few of them is enough to shake the foundations of the 3 major sections." Shu Yuqing said, "It might be better to use the carrot and stick. On one hand, we can use the hostages to threaten them. On the other hand, we can use a portion of the 5 Mountain Sword Sutra to rope in Mount Hong, Mount Hua, and the other sections. This will definitely break the alliance of the 3 sections." Yang Wu analyzed. After everyone heard this, their faces were filled with joy. Yang Wu's idea was good. Now, it was impossible for them to monopolize the 5 Mountain Sword Sutra. Unless Mount Hong sealed itself off or became an independent faction, it would be possible for them to no longer be a member of the 5 Mountain sect. However, this choice was not the best. The 5 Mountain Sword Sutra was no longer a secret. The other sects would definitely not let it go. There were also some powerful factions that cultivated in sword techniques. They might even get involved in the fight for it. Mount Hong would not be able to defend itself. Anyone of the 5 Mountain sect Sword Sutras was first-rate. Now that the 5 Sword Sutras were combined, it was definitely comparable to one of the top Sword Sutras in the transcendental world. There would definitely be many factions eyeing it. The 5 Mountain Sword Sutra did indeed belong to the 5 Mountain sect. If they could take out a portion of it, it would naturally be for the best. Moreover, the other sects did not know if the Sword Sutra was complete. When they became dominant in the future, it would be too late for them to realize. The son-in-law is capable. Xie Zhanjuan could not help but give Yang Wu a thumbs up. Yeah, Yang Wu can fight Tong Tian. He's also a godly apothecary. It won't be a problem for him to catch up to Xiang Ding Tian. Ning Zhoujing agreed. You're all praising me so much that my face is red. I'll be staying at Mount Hung for a few days. If you need any help, just let me know. After Yang Wu said this, he left the hall, leaving the people of Mount Hung alone. Yuqing, this son-in-law of yours is really something. Xie Zhanjuan looked at Shu Yuqing and said, yeah, if not for him, the consequences of our Mount Hung sect would be unimaginable. Another Tong Tian said, for us to be able to survive this ordeal, this son-in-law has done a great service. Ning Zhoujing added. Shu Yuqing said with pride, haha, it's all because that child Yujun has good eyesight. She could tell at a glance that he was not ordinary. She pursued him when he was still in the Earthsea realm. At that time, I had some objections. Yeah, luckily I didn't miss him. Whether or not our Mount Hung can take off is definitely related to him. After that, Yang Wu did not participate in the Mount Hung sect's affairs. Instead, he toured the Mount Hung sect's territory with Shu Yujun. The two of them had been together for a long time, but they had not been idle. They took advantage of this opportunity to walk around and relax their minds. This was more beneficial to their cultivation. Shu Yujun also calmed down from her nervous state. Her face glowed with a moving luster. These past few nights, she had discussed the true meaning of life with Yang Wu. She increasingly felt the beauty and joy of being a woman. After absorbing Yang Wu's essence, she became even more beautiful and moving. How good would it be if things could continue like this? Shu Yujun held Yang Wu's hand and sighed with emotion. Yeah, it will. Once everything calms down, you can come and stay with us. Yang Wu held Shu Yujun's hand tightly. He felt pity for this stubborn woman. He did not want her to suffer any harm. Shu Yujun was already Yang Wu's wife. She should be staying with the Yang family. She softly replied, before she goes, is it appropriate for me to go? Only the two of them knew who she was talking about. A complicated expression appeared on Yang Wu's face. There's nothing inappropriate about it. After returning from the Divine Firmament battlefield, he did not go to the Purple Firmament Hall again. It was not that he had already let go of her, but that his master had already told him that Yu was probably not in the Purple Firmament Hall. Even if he went there, it would be useless. Perhaps she had already gone to the Divine Realm. They would probably only be able to reunite in the Divine Realm. It was because of this that he suppressed those feelings in his heart and did not go to the Purple Firmament Hall again. He would wait until he broke through to the Jade Moon Realm before going there to ask. Shu Yujun leaned on his shoulder and said, don't worry, she will be fine. You two will reunite one day. Yang Wu put an arm around her shoulder and said, you don't blame me for being too greedy? What's their blame? From the first day I was with you, I knew that I would not be the only one by your side. Shu Yujun replied. She paused for a moment before continuing. We cultivators have a long life ahead of us. There aren't many people who can accompany us all the time. It's good that I can stay by your side. Compared to her, I'm already very fortunate. Yang Wu did not expect Shu Yujun to be so considerate. He felt extremely gratified and felt that marrying this wife was a kind of fortune. The two of them chatted about some matters regarding the Hung Mountain sect before slowly walking back. In the past few days, the news that the Hung Mountain sect had the 5 Mountain Sword Manual had spread. The Hung Mountain sect repelled the encirclement of Mount Song, Mount Tai, and Mount Hua. These matters were also faintly discernible. For a time, the Hung Mountain sect became the focus of the transcendent world's attention. Many swordsmen yearned for the 5 Mountains Sword Manual. They were all wondering if they should fish in troubled waters and see if they had the chance to see the mysterious elegance of the 5 Mountain Sword Manual. On this day, Li Mu Bai, known as the #1 sword in the world, arrived at the Hung Mountain sect. Chapter 1472. The world's #1 sword. This was not a title that anyone could have. Li Mu Bai, the #1 expert from Shushan. His swordsmanship was unparalleled, and he had defeated countless swordsmen to obtain this title. The sword gods that had been defeated by him were Eternal Life Sword God, a Mei Shirtai Miju, 5 mountain sects Grand Preceptors Wa, and other overlords. Li Mubai's sudden arrival at the Hung Mountain sect attracted the attention of many experts. Li Mubai had been famous for many years and was ranked as one of the top 10 experts in the transcendent realm. His every move was closely watched. A handsome and elegant middle-aged man on a sword looked at him with his back facing the sun. It was as if a sword immortal had descended. His outstanding demeanor was truly impressive. Walking alongside him was a man dressed in black. He carried a demonic sword on his back. With a wild expression, he looked at the middle-aged man and said, "Li Mubai, once you've seen the 5 Mountain Sword Manual, you'll fight with me. This time, you won't be able to escape." There were only a few people who dared to challenge the world's #1 sword, and the person in front of him was one of them. He was known as the Sword Demon. No one knew his origin or real name. They only knew that he used the sword like a demon. He had challenged many swordsmen and killed many of them. He was known as the expert closest to the first heaven. For many years, the Sword Demon had been challenging Li Mubai. There were not many rumors about who was stronger, but more people believed that the title of the world's #1 sword could not be shaken. In this world, there was no one who was better at using the sword than Li Mubai. Li Mubai looked at the Sword Demon and smiled faintly. If the 5 Mountain Sword Manual is combined, perhaps the world's #1 sword will be in the 5 Mountain sect. Since you think so highly of the 5 Mountain Sword Manual, then I'll have to take a look at it. The Sword Demon said excitedly, "Don't mess around. I'm a swordsman. I'm not allowed to do such things." Li Mubai advised. "Hee, that's your way of doing things, Li Mubai. It's not my way of doing things." The Sword Demon said and quickly flew towards the Hung Mountain sect. His speed was as fast as a flying sword. Li Mubai watched from behind with a faint smile on his face. Even Imperial Tutor Swa had to run away pathetically. "Sword Demon, you won't have it easy." When the Sword Demon approached Mount Hung, a beautiful figure blocked his path. It was none other than Yu Huaijin. "Do not approach." Yu Huaijin looked at Sword Demon and said faintly, "Hee, I am not an idle person. I am the Sword Demon. My sword has a demon. I can kill a god with one sword." The Sword Demon laughed crazily. He pulled out his sword and slashed towards Yu Huaijin. "I don't care if you're the Sword Demon or the Sword God. It's all useless against me." Yu Huaijin shouted. She raised her hand and grabbed out. A tearing power shattered the shocking sword light. Yu Huaijin came from the God realm, and his battle prowess was extraordinary. People like Yama Ox, Lei Yaoxian, and Grand Tutors were no match for him. Even Sword Demon did not pose much of a threat to him. The Sword Demon did not think much of it. He refined the sword into a demon. His demonic sword path had reached a very high level. He slashed out again and again. His bloodthirsty sword path enveloped the heaven and earth, wanting to shatter the heaven and earth. The Sword Demon's demonic sword path was filled with demonic chi. The demonic sword path's power was very terrifying. It was much stronger than Imperial Tutor's was battle prowess. Yu Huaijin did not dare to underestimate the Sword Demon. She slashed out with her curved blade, forcing the Sword Demon to retreat. At this moment, Li Mubai came. He pulled out his sword without hesitation. A sword aura crossed the sky and broke the distance between Yu Huaijin and the Sword Demon. The sword aura slashed across, and the sword mark did not disappear for a long time. Yu Huaijin raised her head and looked at Li Mubai. She murmured, "Sword Heart Illumination Realm." No, it should be the Selfless Sword Realm. Selfless Sword Realm. This was the highest realm of the sword path. This realm could only be reached by a pure sword cultivator. This was the sword god that no one could reach. There were very few sword cultivators in the immortal realm who could reach this realm. She did not expect that there would be one in this place. The Sword Demon that she just fought with was also infinitely close to this realm. The transcendent realm actually had something special. Perhaps it was hiding some big secret. I did not know that Lordly Mubai was here. Sorry for not going out to meet you. Ning Zhouzheng and Xie Zhangjuan came over and greeted him. Li Mubai did not care about the two of them. Instead, he looked at Yu Huaijin and asked, "May I know where you are from?" There were not many overlords in the Transcendent Realm. He had basically met all of them. The only one he had not met was Yu Huaijin. Li Mu Bai, are you trying to hit on her? Let's see if you have the ability to do so. The sword demon carried his sword and said with a mocking expression. Then, he flew towards Ning Zhouzheng and Xie Zhanjuan and shouted, "Hand over the 5-mountain sword manual. Let me see it." The sword demon's chi was still very scary. Ning Zhouzheng and Xie Zhanjuan were not his opponents. Fortunately, Yu Huaijin was here, so he could not forcefully injure them. You two can come at me together. Yu Huaijin looked at Li Mu Bai and the sword demon and said, as long as the two of them were not at the peak of the Jade Moon realm, she had no reason to be afraid. Unless she met an expert like Hao Run or Dao Lao Er, she could ignore the people in the Transcendent Realm. Such big words. Do you really think I can't kill you? The sword demon's body was overflowing with sword chi. He stared at Yu Huaijin with a thick killing intent. He was very fond of such a powerful opponent. Just as Li Mu Bai was about to speak, Yang Wu had already arrived in the air. Young master. Yu Huaijin bowed slightly when she saw Yang Wu. Both Li Mu Bai and Sword Demon were shocked at the same time. Such a beautiful woman actually called the young man in front of them as young master. Did that mean that she respected him? Yang Wu of the Yang family? Li Mu Bai asked when he saw Yang Wu. Yang Wu cupped his hands and said, "Yes, that is me." He then said, "Senior Li, are you trying to force me to hand over the 5-mountain sword manual?" Li Mu Bai, would not do such a thing. I just want to use my sword skills to compete with the 5-mountain sword manual. The 5-mountain sword manual has been combined, so the sword skills must have been combined as well. There must be something extraordinary about it. Li Mu Bai said calmly. Li Mu Bai, you're such a hypocrite. Who doesn't know that you have a photographic memory? You can learn most of the sword skills that you've seen. For someone as shameless as you to say such beautiful words, it's really admirable. Sword Demon said, pausing for a moment before continuing, "But I like opponents like you." "Okay, then I will let you see the 5-mountain sword manual." Yang Wu answered and then shouted, "Yujun, come here. Let me see the 5-mountain sword manual." Oh, Waguna flew over with Shu Yujun on his back. When Li Mu Bai and the sword demon saw Waguna, their eyes widened. They were both overlords and had seen many things. They could see that this crow was different from others. The pure dark power was very obvious. Its bloodline must be very ancient. After Waguna came out of the divine firmament battlefield, it had changed a lot. Its cultivation level had also increased a lot. The divine firmament battlefield was a broken place. It was not as complete as the Transcendence laws. After coming here, it could devour the complete dark power and start a new round of evolution. Shu Yujun got down from Waguna and bowed to Li Mu Bai and the sword demon. "Greetings, seniors. You know the 5-mountain sword manual?" Li Mu Bai asked Shu Yujun. Shu Yujun nodded. "I know." "Okay, draw your sword at me," said Li Mu Bai. Shu Yujun glanced at Yang Wu. After Yang Wu nodded, she drew her sword and attacked Li Mu Bai. When she drew her sword, Li Mu Bai and the sword demon's eyes lit up. Sword heart as one. This was a sword cultivation level. Sword chi, sword intent, sword Dao, sword heart, sword soul, and no sword, no self. Shu Yujun had not only reached the Star Rune realm at such a young age, but she had also comprehended the sword Dao and condensed the sword heart. She had the potential to be a sword cultivator. If Shu Yujun was a sword cultivator who had lived for hundreds or even thousands of years, they would not think much of it. But Shu Yujun was only 50 years old. To have such achievements was no small matter. Li Mu Bai and the sword demon were both sword cultivators. They could see that Shu Yujun was very sincere towards the sword Dao. Only with sincerity could one condense the sword heart. This was a good seedling. Shu Yujun made her move. She did not use any power and only used her sword skills. She attacked the world's #1 sword one move after another. This was a rare honor that not everyone could have. One had to know that many people wanted to draw their sword at Li Mu Bai, but before the sword could be drawn, it would be broken. The world's #1 sword was not an undeserved reputation. Shu Yujun did not use any power, so Li Mu Bai did not use any. Moreover, he could not attack. He was the world's #1 sword cultivator. He could not afford to lose face if he attacked a female sword cultivator who was not even 50 years old. The 5 Mountain Sword Manual was paired with the 5 Mountain Sword Manual. Every sword was incomparably exquisite. Sometimes it was majestic, sometimes it was strange. Countless sword flowers surged, as if there were 5 huge mountains suppressing the mountains and rivers. It was hard to resist. Li Mubai and the Sword Demon were infatuated. This was definitely a top-notch sword skill, or even an ancient sword skill. Otherwise, it would not have such power. Shu Yujun was unable to use all of her sword skills. Some of them were too profound for her to comprehend. This is the 5 Mountain Sword Technique. Senior, are you satisfied? Shu Yujun asked after she stopped. As expected of the 5 Sacred Mountains Sword Technique, it is completely condensed from the aura of the 5 sacred mountains of the North, South, East, West, and Central Sacred Mountains. If one does not reside within the 5 sacred mountains, one will not be able to sense the majestic sword aura, nor will one be able to sense the dangerous aura. Li Mubai sighed. After a pause, he stared at Shu Yujun and said, "Are you willing to be my Li Mubai's disciple?" Everyone was instantly stunned. Only the Sword Demon said loudly, "Hey, Li Mubai, you are from Shu Mountain. How can you accept a disciple from Hung Mountain sect as your disciple? Girl, quickly acknowledge me as your master. I will do my best to teach you to become the world's #1 sword cultivator." Chapter 1473. #1 Sword and Sword Demon were fighting over a disciple at the same time. This was something that no one had expected. Even Yang Wu was stunned. He had hoped that Shu Yujun would use the 5 Sacred Mountain Sword Technique to satisfy Li Mubai and Sword Demon's curiosity. Then, he would be able to send them away openly. After all, Yu Huaijin was here, so the two of them did not dare to be too presumptuous. Who would have thought that the two of them would fight over a disciple? Everything was going well at first, but Sword Demon's temper flared up, and he attacked Li Mubai. Li Mubai was known as the #1 sword in the world. Naturally, he was not to be trifled with. In that battle, the two swords clashed nonstop, displaying stunning sword techniques. It was really an eye-opener. Yu Huaijin saw the two of them go all out and commented, "They are not inferior to me. If they go all out, I might even lose." She was a goddess from the god realm. There was no need to talk about her battle techniques. To give the two of them such a high evaluation, it was obvious how brilliant their sword techniques were. Li Mubai's understanding of the sword had already reached the peak. His every move was a sword, and sword chi was constantly being produced. His understanding of the sword Dao was above Sword Demon's. However, Sword Demon's sword was unconventional, and his demon's sword was awe-inspiring. This could make up for his lack of understanding of the sword Dao. In the end, the two of them did not fight to the death, nor did they decide the winner. However, everyone present could see that Li Mubai was indeed better than Sword Demon. He fought more easily, while Sword Demon seemed to be struggling. After this battle, Shu Yujun decided to take Sword Demon as her master. This decision made Li Mubai somewhat disappointed. However, he quickly became carefree again. Shu Mountain Sword Dao is indeed not suitable for you. Then, he looked at Sword Demon and said, "Don't mislead her." After that, he left on his sword. The #1 sword in the world had failed to take in a disciple for the first time. If this matter were spread, who knew how many people would be shocked? They would definitely scold Shu Yujun for being an idiot. With such a great opportunity, why did she choose Sword Demon, who was slightly weaker than Li Mubai? Shu Yujun naturally had her own reasons for making this decision. Sword Demon was a lone cultivator and not a big shot from any faction. It would be best for her to acknowledge him as her master. As her master, he would naturally become the grand guardian of the Mount Hung sect. When Mount Hung was in danger, would he not lend a hand? Although the Jianghu people did not have a good impression of the Sword Demon, it was not that bad. He was a person who was both good and evil. With him overseeing the Mount Hung sect, the sect has nothing to worry about. If she took Li Mubai as her master, Li Mubai would not stay and would send her Shushan. She would no longer be able to call herself a member of the Mount Hung sect. It was because of this consideration that she made this decision. Yang Wu, Ning Zhouzheng, and the rest all felt that her decision was too smart. No matter how great Li Mubai's reputation was, what was the use if he was not of much help to the Hung Mountain sect? They did not think that Shu Yujun would fully help the Hung Mountain sect. Perhaps, in the future, Shu Mountain sect would use some reason to take the Five Mountains Sword Sutra for themselves. Regardless of whether or not they were measuring the heart of a gentleman with the yardstick of a villain, they had to take precautions. Shu Yujun taking the Sword Demon as her master caused a stir in the Mount Hung sect. Some people were worried that the Sword Demon would covet the Five Mountain Sword Sutra. After all, if someone of his level really wanted to take it by force, who could stop him? They did not want to have the wolf come after they had just driven the tiger away. The Sword Demon was very interested in the Five Mountain Sword Sutra, but at his current level, he could not rashly change to another cultivation method. He had indeed taken a liking to Shu Yujun's talent in the sword and planned to properly nurture her. As Shu Yujun's husband, Yang Wu naturally had the responsibility to check on her and meet the Sword Demon alone. Senior Sword Demon, I don't care if you are sincere or not in wanting to take the Rain Lord as your disciple. I have to tell you that there are countless Sword Sutras in the world, not just the Five Mountain Sword Sutra. If you ruin your sword cultivation for a Sword Sutra, then the gains will not make up for the losses. Yang Wu vaguely said. The Sword Demon looked at Yang Wu with a playful expression and said, "Are you warning me?" "No. I believe that Senior Sword Demon also has a unique cultivation method and will not really take the Five Mountain Sword Sutra to heart. It's just that you have not seen the real Five Mountain Sword Sutra, so I'm afraid that your heart will feel uncomfortable. It's like a hoodlum seeing a beauty and not being able to take liberties with her." Yang Wu analyzed. The analogy is not bad. Then what do you want to say? You want me to give up on taking her as my disciple and immediately scram? No. I know that Senior sincerely wants to take my wife as your disciple, so I plan to give you a gift. You're a godly apothecary. Could it be that you plan to give me a godly pill? No. I will give you the chant of the Five Mountain Sword Sutra. What? The Five Mountain Sword Sutra was deduced by Yang Wu, so he naturally knew the chant. However, back then, he only deduced the individual chants of the Five Mountains and did not combine the five chants. However, after reaching Shu Yuqing's place, they made new deductions based on some secret techniques passed down from their ancestors and found a way to combine the chants. As for whether it was complete or not, they were not sure. However, the power of the sword technique had greatly increased. Today, after Yang Wu returned, he could already deduce the Five Mountains Sword Sutra again. He refined the Emperor Jade Xian essence and improved the supreme 9 mystic arts to another level. It was not too difficult for him to deduce the Five Mountains Sword Sutra. This was indeed a Sword Sutra of the true God realm. Its origin was not small, and it was very profound. In the past few days, when he went out to play with Shu Yujun, the two of them had also interacted. Yang Wu realized that the Five Mountain Sword Sutra that Shu Yujun and the others cultivated was not complete. There were still many loopholes. Therefore, he passed the chant that he deduced to Shu Yujun and warned her not to easily pass it on again. Their Mount Hung had already suffered once, so she naturally knew to be cautious. Now, Yang Wu wanted to pass on the chant to Sword Demon. Naturally, it was not complete. After all, they had just met, and it was impossible for him to completely trust Sword Demon. He only did this to dispel Sword Demon's intentions of making a move on Shu Yujun. Sword Demon did not expect Yang Wu to really tell him the chant of the Five Mountain Sword Sutra. After he memorized the chant, he could immediately determine the authenticity of the chant. There was no doubt that it was the Five Mountain Sword Sutra, but he did not know if it was complete or not. This is only a Sword Sutra that can be cultivated to the 9 Yang realm. Furthermore, there are still some areas that are incomplete. Senior Sword Demon, it was not easy for you to reach your current realm. If you were to cultivate the Five Mountain Sword Sutra, I'm afraid the gains would not make up for the losses. However, in order to prevent unnecessary friction between you and Yujun, it is most suitable for me to pass on the chant to you. Whether you cultivate it or not is your business. I only hope that you can teach Yujun well. Yang Wu said sincerely. Aren't you afraid that I will make a move on her after taking her in as a disciple? If I was afraid, I wouldn't have let her take you as her master. Haha, no wonder she has such achievements at such a young age. This boldness is indeed not something that others can have. I, sword demon, have refined the sword my entire life and am crazy about it. I will definitely not do anything that goes against my sword Tao. Since I have taken her in as a disciple, I will definitely pass on the strongest sword Tao to her. You can rest assured, sword demon promised. All right, if senior sword demon has any instructions, Yang Wu will definitely do his best. I don't have any other skills, but my alchemy skills are passable, Yang Wu replied. I have long heard that you and Xiangding Tian are unparalleled in alchemy and martial arts. If there is a need, I will not stand on ceremony with you. Then I will have to trouble Senior Yujun. Shu Yujun's apprenticeship ceremony was wantonly organized by Mount Hong. They were naturally doing this for the other 4 mountain sects to see. They had Sword Demon as their backer. Anyone who wanted to covet the 5 Mountain Sword Sutra would have to think twice. In addition, after the 2 old farts of Mount Hung consumed the immortal elixir, their lifespans were greatly extended. One of them even had a breakthrough, and his strength increased greatly. They were already enough to protect Mount Hung. They personally came to thank Yang Wu and even took out many divine and sage medicines with Ning Zhouzheng, Xie Zhanjuan, and the others to give to Yang Wu in exchange for 2 drops of immortal elixir. Yang Wu did not stand on ceremony and accepted them all. These heaven-reaching old monsters had a lot of treasures. The things they contributed were enough for him to refine some divine elixirs. He did not care much about the value of the immortal elixir. Yang Wu could not stay in Mount Hung forever. After a few days of pleasure with Shu Yujun, he began his return journey. When Yang Wu left, the many heaven-reaching experts of Mount Hung came out to send him off. They had no choice. This young master was too capable. Without him, there would be no Mount Hung. If they did not send him off, it would not be respectful. Unknowingly, Yang Wu already had the ability to change the structure of the transcendent realm. After bidding farewell to them, Yang Wu returned to the Yang family. When he returned, the clan was in a mess. Nan Nan, the little devil, brought along Yang Zixing and Yang Yuan and caused chaos among the youths and children of the clan. Nan Nan was already a young girl. She was beautiful and generous. After she came to the Yang family, she had always been with Su Rome. It was only recently that she walked out of the haze of her master's death. She wanted to find Yang Wu, but Yang Wu was not in the clan. Thus, she bumped into Yang Zixing. Yang Zixing was born with a divine fetus. He was the devil incarnate in the clan, and many of the children were unable to control him. Later, Yang Zixing met Yang Yuan. He took a fancy to Yang Yuan's little evil dragon and wanted to snatch it away. Yang Yuan naturally refused, and the 2 of them fought. Yang Yuan was not a match for Yang Zixing, and the little evil dragon was almost snatched away. It was Nan Nan who appeared to help him out. Later, for some unknown reason, this young girl and 2 little brats got together and began to harm the youths and children of the clan. Originally, many youths of the Yang family had taken a fancy to Nan Nan. In the end, Nan Nan ordered Yang Zixing to attack those youths, beating them until they cried for their parents. She also ordered Yang Yuan to challenge other children, beating up those who were slightly older than him until their noses and faces were swollen, causing chaos in the martial arts field. They all had powerful backgrounds, and no one dared to interfere. Fortunately, the clan leader returned. Chapter 1474. Nan Nan was brought up by Hao Run, and she had already reached the dragon transformation realm. In her generation, even if she wasn't the undisputed number 1, she was definitely in the top 3. She originally had the innate ethereal body, and her cultivation speed was incomparably fast. She also received Hao Ren's true teachings, and her strength was very strong. Even the divine fetus Yang Zixing was afraid of her. She had a gourd, and could smash him at any time to make him cry out. After soaking in the 2nd grade immortal elixir pool, Yang Yuan's physique had also become extraordinary. Even if he was only a child close to 3 years old, his intelligence was completely opened. The three of them played together happily. The Yang family's instructors had headaches, and they really wanted to give the title of instructor to these three children. The tall, wheat-colored girl put her hands on her hips and said, "Look at how you cowards cultivate, and then look at them. They're just melons, but they can carry 1,000 cauldron stone. You guys can't do it. Too disappointing. Look at my heaven-breaking palm." A baby let out a proud laugh and shouted. His little palm slapped the 1,000 cauldron stone, and the 1,000 cauldron stone instantly exploded. "Little Yuanzi, you also come and show your skills," the girl said to another child. "Oh, then I'll try somersaulting and see how many I can somersault." The child responded and then began to roll continuously on the spot. He was like a spinning top and began to roll continuously. In the blink of an eye, he continuously flipped the entire training field and round after round, without stopping. "See, you guys are much older than little Yuanzi, and you can't do it after a few somersaults. You really are trash among trash," the girl said resentfully. A youth came up to argue with the girl, but was directly sent flying by a punch from the girl. Wah wah! Suddenly, the training field was filled with the cries of children. These were the Yang family's children, ranging from 5 to 15 years old. There were about a few hundred of them, and they were the future successors of the Yang family. "Great aunt, they're still children. Can you not bully them like this?" An instructor came in front of the girl and said in a low voice, "Who didn't know that this young lady was the clan leader's little sister? Who dared to speak loudly to her? Just because they are children, they should work harder and not let down their brother's hopes for them. My big brother worked hard to stabilize the Yang family's foundation. We can't lose to them in the future. As the instructor, you should make them work even harder and not be afraid of hardships. Only by increasing their strength can they protect more people." Nanan said excitedly. She thought of her master. An old man who was very afraid of her anger had died, just like that. She hated herself for not cultivating hard enough. Otherwise, she wouldn't have watched him die. The head instructor was so ashamed that he wanted to cry. He was called the cold-faced instructor by others because he was strict enough. These children were all afraid of him, but in the eyes of this great aunt, it was not enough. Could it be that she would only be satisfied after torturing these children to death? Well said. A voice of praise rang out, and a youth that no one could look straight at slowly walked over. "Big brother, you're finally back." Nanan cried out in joy when he saw the young man and threw himself at him. "This would can also be so cute." Yang Zixing muttered. "What's cute?" Yang Yuan blinked his lively eyes and asked, "What does a little brat like you know? Hurry up and play with the mud." Yang Zixing glanced at Yang Yuan. In fact, he looked even younger than Yang Yuan, like a porcelain doll. He was incomparably good-looking, but he was much more hot-tempered than Yang Yuan. "I'm going to tell my master that you bullied me." Yang Yuan replied, not to be outdone. "You've got guts, daring to threaten me." Yang Zixing stared at Yang Yuan and said. Before he could get close to Yang Yuan, he was picked up by a hand, and a voice rang out. "Didn't I tell you to cultivate properly? What are you doing out here?" Yang Wu had left Yang Zixing in Qingfeng's care. He didn't have time to deal with Yang Zixing, and Yang Zixing's intelligence was fully awakened. He was no different from an adult, so he wouldn't cause any trouble. However, Yang Wu had underestimated his child's temperament, and he had still come out to cause trouble. He was the focus of everyone's attention, so he couldn't let anyone know who he was. Otherwise, some people wouldn't want to see him grow up. "Hurry up and put me down. Yang Zixing, can't be controlled by others." Yang Zixing shouted, and a strong qi spread out from his body. He wanted to break free from Yang Wu's control. Yang Wu was much stronger than him, and he sealed his power on the spot. From now on, you can't use this power anymore. Once you reach the Saint Plane, you'll be able to undo it. Yang Wu spoke, and a force quickly entered Yang Zixing's dantian, sealing the power in his dantian. Yang Wu already had the Tongtian stage, so it wasn't difficult for him to seal the power of a Saint Plane creature. Yang Zixing unhappily shouted, "Bastard, if you dare to do this, I won't let you off." Strands of the power of thunder and lightning were released from his body. This was not the power of his Dan, but the power contained in his flesh and blood. It was a natural power that he was born with. Dark clouds gathered in the sky, and lightning could fall at any time. Yang Wu immediately took him away. Nan Nan and Yang Yuan also took him away. He left a message for the instructor. Raise these children well. It's not a bad thing to let them suffer a bit. You've done very well. The instructor looked in the direction where Yang Wu left and knelt down. Yes, clan leader. Receiving the clan leader's approval was more than anything. Yang Wu took the three of them to the bamboo yard. This was his residence. Rebirth, I wasn't joking. I'll seal your power and teach you the celestial art. When your power is unsealed in the future, you'll be able to reach the sky in one step. Do you want to do it or not? Yang Wu looked directly at Yang Zixing. You can just teach me the celestial art. Why do you have to seal my power? Isn't that harming me? Yang Zixing replied. You have the body of rebirth. If you want to reach the top of the supreme plane, you'll have to suffer a lot. Only then can you become the best and protect the Yang family, Yang Wu said seriously. Yang Zixing seemed to be touched by something. He immediately said, Okay, I'll seal it. I'll still be the strongest. He had the innate thunder embryo body. His physical strength alone was comparable to a saint plane creature. Yang Wu's sealing of his dantian was useless. The power in his dantian wasn't strong. Only sealing the power of his physical body was effective. Okay, you already have the power of a saint body. If I want to seal your power, I'll have to start with your flesh. It'll hurt a little. Bear with it, Yang Wu said. So, he didn't care about Nan Nan and Yang Yuan. He began to slap Yang Zixing's body. Bang bang. Yang Wu had sealed Yang Zixing's body like a furnace. Only after Yang Wu had cultivated to the sage realm would he be able to break Yang Zixing's restrictive power. At that time, Yang Zixing would become incomparably powerful. Yang Zixing was also very strong. He didn't make a sound under such a strong sealing power. His endurance was really extraordinary. When Yang Wu finished sealing his physical strength, he lay on the ground like a baby. I'll teach you the 9 Thunder reshaping body technique, Yang Wu said, and completely taught Yang Zixing the cultivation method of the 9 Thunder reshaping body technique. Yang Zixing had the innate thunder embryo body, so it was very suitable for him to cultivate the 9 Thunder reshaping body technique. He had sealed Yang Zixing's physical strength, but not his soul strength. Yang Zixing's soul strength was still abnormally strong, not inferior to any saints. This was because he had cultivated the soul tactics before reincarnating. With the help of a strong soul, Yang Zixing could also quickly improve his strength. After Yang Wu passed the 9 Thunder reshaping body technique to Yang Zixing, he pulled Yang Yuan over and said, You're my disciple. I won't treat you badly. I'll teach you the void reshaping body technique. The reason why Yang Wu passed on the void reshaping body technique first was because he wanted Yang Yuan to cultivate his physical body first. Only when his physical body was solid could it accommodate more power. Yang Wu didn't pass on the void reshaping body technique to Yang Yuan all at once. He only passed on 1/3 of it, which was enough for him to cultivate. At the same time, he also passed on the basic method of absorbing qi. He wasn't in a hurry to pass on the immortal arts to him. If he grew too fast now, it wouldn't be good for him. Big brother, what are you passing on to me? Nan Nan saw that Yang Wu had finished passing on the knowledge to Yang Yuan, so he also came over and asked, Big brother can pass on everything I know to you. What do you want to learn? Yang Wu asked back. Nan Nan tilted his head and thought for a bit before saying, I want to learn the most powerful secret technique that can help Big Brother deal with those brats. Yang Wu thought for a bit before saying in a deep voice, Okay, I'll pass on everything I taught them to you. How you feel about it will depend on your luck. Thus, Yang Wu passed on the Soul Control Heart Sutra, the 9 Thunder reshaping body technique, and the Void reshaping body technique to Nan Nan. With Nan Nan's talent, he would definitely be able to successfully cultivate these secret techniques. Not only did Nan Nan obtain Hao Ren's true inheritance, but he also obtained Yang Wu's secret techniques. In the future, his strength would definitely be incomparably powerful. Yang Wu also planned to calm his heart and properly teach them, especially Yang Zixing and Yang Yuan, as well as Ai Sha and Shui Xiaofan. Yang Wu ordered people to find the 2 of them. Due to Yang Wu's return, they had already returned from outside. Now Aisha had grown quite tall and attractive. Her appearance had become quite bright and beautiful, and there was no doubt that she had the appearance of a big sister. Xue Xiaofan, on the other hand, was growing more and more ordinary. His skin was rough and dark, and he wore ordinary armor. His pair of callous palms made him look like a true blacksmith. When the two stood together, Xue Xiaofan appeared much more mature and introverted. As for Aisha, she constantly exuded her youthful charm. "Greetings, master." When the two saw Yang Wu, they knelt down together. There were already many legends about Yang Wu, but his teachings to his disciples were the same as his master's. He had let them down. Now Aisha had reached the peak of the heavenly fish realm. She was only a step away from breaking through to the dragon transformation realm. Xue Xiaofan, on the other hand, was firmly in the advanced heavenly fish realm. He was quite a distance away from Aisha. Chapter 1475. Yang Wu was originally very happy to see his two disciples, but after seeing them, he immediately felt that something was wrong. The two of them were far away from each other, as if they didn't want to get close to each other. This was a bad sign. Aisha, are you satisfied with your current strength? Yang Wu first asked Aisha. Aisha said proudly, "Of course, even in the family, most people are no match for me." In these years, Aisha not only cultivated in the family, but also went out to explore. She had seen many experts of the same generation, and she was never afraid of anyone. Because of this, her prestige among the younger generation of the Yang family was quite high. Yang Wu said non-committally, "It seems that you are very confident in yourself." After pausing for a moment, he looked at Xue Xiaofan and asked, "Xiaofan, I heard that you are already a heaven-grade blacksmith. When can you forge a minor saint battle weapon?" "Master, I can already forge a minor saint battle weapon," Xue Xiaofan calmly replied. "Then, did you encounter any problems? Did your blacksmithing masters teach you seriously?" "Yes, they are very good to their disciples. Do your best and strive to become a saint weapon master as soon as possible. Only then will you live up to your adoptive father's expectations of you." Yang Wu nodded, then said to the two of them, "The two of you attack Nan Nan together. Use your full strength. There is no need to be polite." Aisha looked at Nan Nan and said eagerly, "Little sister Nan Nan, please advise us." Xue Xiaofan cupped his hands and pulled out the heavy hammer on his back, ready to fight at any time. "You are my brother's disciples, so I am your martial aunt. Let martial aunt teach you how to be a good person." Nan Nan said, her aura locked onto them, and her delicate hand slapped towards them. Before the two of them were ready, Nan Nan had already arrived in front of them and pressed her palm against their bodies. Bang! Nan Nan had stayed by Hao Ren's side since he was a child and received incomparably strict training. He did not show any mercy and sent them flying on the spot. "That's the reaction time. It's too bad," Nan Nan said disdainfully. "Nan, martial aunt, it's not good for you to launch a sneak attack like this," Aisha said with some dissatisfaction. Xue Xiaofan didn't say anything. He relaxed his body and took the initiative to attack Nan Nan with his heavy hammer. When he made his move, all kinds of different weapons appeared behind him. There was also a furnace with many weapons flying out from it. These weapons all gathered on the heavy hammer, condensing an incomparably powerful force, and smashed towards Nan Nan. "The way of weapon refinement," Yang Wu said with a hint of surprise. In the past, he had only seen the way of weapon refinement from Shui Gui. Now, Xue Xiaofan had finally inherited his ability and condensed his own way of weapon refinement. The way of weapon refinement could only be comprehended by weapon refiners who were willing to dedicate their lives to weapon refinement. It was one of the most difficult martial arts to comprehend. As Xue Xiaofan's way of weapon refinement burst forth, his combat strength rose steadily. He also had the barbarian bloodline in his body, which could sharply increase his combat strength. His hammer strike was extremely stunning, but it was still easily blocked by Nan Nan. "Your strength is very strong, but without the slightest bit of skill, how can you kill the enemy? Get out of my way," Nan Nan said and sent Shui Xiaofan flying with a roundhouse kick. She only used the strength of the heavenly fish realm and did not use the strength of the dragon transformation realm. Otherwise, Shui Xiaofan would have died in one blow. At the same time, AI Sha raised her sword and charged over. AI Sha did not comprehend the way of the sword, but she had comprehended the will of the sword. Her strikes were very fast, and many sword auras surrounded Nan Nan, not giving her any room to dodge. Nan Nan ignored the sword auras and waved her delicate hand to slap the sword auras. The sword auras were shattered, and the powerful palm force sent AI Sha flying again. You look like you have some skill, but compared to that hammer strike just now, it's a far cry. Nan Nan said with a condescending look. You dare to look down on me, I will make you pay the price. AI Sha said with dissatisfaction. Profound chi exploded, as if half a dragon's aura was condensed, and she once again slashed out with an incomparably sharp attack. Shui Xiaofan also attacked from another direction. His hammer strike after strike seemed very old-fashioned, but the power was getting stronger and stronger, and the way of weapon refinement was becoming stronger. You guys only have this much strength. I feel disappointed in my brother. You guys are wasting the resources he gave you. Can your sword be any slower? There are flaws everywhere. I really don't know where you get your confidence from. The strength of your heavy hammer is not bad, but you only know one move. Can you be more nimble? You will never be able to touch me like this. Nan Nan used the strength of the heavenly fish realm to fight against AI Sha and Shui Xiaofan, but the two of them were continuously sent flying by Nan Nan. If Nan Nan wanted to kill or injure them, they would have died long ago. All right, stop. Yang Wu called out. Nan Nan stopped, retreated to Yang Wu's side, and said, Brother, these two disciples of yours are really weak. AI Sha wiped away a very indignant look and said, Your realm is higher than mine. Of course you would say that. Shui Xiaofan was very calm and did not reply. He seemed unwilling to argue. You don't agree? Nan Nan glanced at AI Sha, and then she sneered, I just used the elementary heavenly fish realm, and you were beaten to a pulp. Why don't you agree? Aisha was speechless for a moment. Yang Wu said, Your strength is indeed a bit strong, and it is my fault for not teaching you much. I will be teaching you for a period of time, and I hope you will cherish it. At this moment, Yang Wu had the heart to teach them well. All these years, he had been pursuing a higher realm, and after experiencing so many things, he had gradually matured. He did not want his disciples to complain to him in the future. Moreover, he believed that the two of them still had a chance to qualify for the martial sage assembly. As Yang Wu's disciples, how could they be absent? Even if time was tight, and they still needed some time to reach the Star Rune realm, he still hoped that they could make it in time for this grand event. His requirements were not low. To push the two of them to the Star Rune realm in a dozen years, even a top-notch genius would not be able to do so. Yang Wu did not teach the two of them together, but taught them separately. He created two clones and began to teach them one-on-one. Aisha, your cultivation talent is still lacking compared to many youths in the transcendent world. Even though I've given you quite a bit of cultivation resources over the years, it's still not enough to make up for this flaw. In addition, you're a little anxious for success, so your foundation isn't stable. It won't be difficult for you to break through to the dragon transformation realm, but it won't be easy for you to break through to the astral rune realm. Therefore, I plan to temper your foundation and refine your realm, Yang Wu said as he raised his hand and slapped Aisha a few times. Puff puff. Aisha was completely unprepared and was beaten until she was crippled. In the next moment, a medicine barrel appeared beside Yang Wu, and she was thrown into it. After Aisha fell into the medicine barrel, she let out a mournful cry. The stimulation of the medicinal liquid was too terrifying. When it seeped into her flesh, it was as if she was being skinned. Bear with it and cultivate, Yang Wu said indifferently, and then sat to the side to rest with his eyes closed. How could Aisha endure it? She wanted to jump out of the wooden barrel, but there was a force imprisoning her inside, and she could not move at all. Master, you are a devil, Aisha thought in her heart. In the past, Yang Wu would only pass on some of his cultivation experience to them and then leave. He had never forced her to cultivate like this time. AI Sha had no choice but to endure the pain and begin tempering her body, rebuilding her foundation. After that, every time AI Sha finished tempering her foundation, she would listen to Yang Wu's teachings. Then, the two of them would start sparring again. After sparring, they would continue tempering her body. Every time, AI Sha would be beaten half to death. Where her body was being tempered, she would feel like dying. It was really much more terrifying than her days of cultivation or tempering in the past. Only then did she realize how ruthless her master was. She would not believe that her master had not suffered like this before. Yang Wu only used the method of recuperating in the God of War pagoda to temper AI Sha's muscles and bones, rebuilding her foundation. He also imparted his insights into the various realms and the use of combat techniques. Whether she could benefit from it all depended on her. AI Sha's talent was not very outstanding, but her perceptivity was not bad. She could often draw inferences from one example, and her improvement was very obvious. On the other side, Yang Wu's guidance to Xue Xiaofan was different. Xiaofan, you have the barbarian tribe's bloodline. Let me see how much you have learned from the barbarian fist, Yang Wu said to Xue Xiaofan. Yes, master, Xue Xiaofan responded and completely released his strength to attack Yang Wu. Xue Xiaofan's barbarian tribe's bloodline was very powerful. Furthermore, he was being trained by barbarian bull, barbarian tiger, and barbarian elephant. His combat strength was actually more powerful than AI Sha's, and his foundation was more solid. Every punch he threw, a powerful savage beast would appear. Yang Wu waited for him to finish a set of barbaric fist before saying, "You have comprehended the essence of the barbaric fist, but it is a pity that you lack some flexibility. You have always been single-minded in your attacks. Although you can practice the moves to perfection, it is not right when facing an enemy. The battlefield is ever-changing, and you can only deal with all kinds of changes by remaining unchanging. Only then can you kill the enemy and win." After saying this, he attacked Xue Xiaofan. Xue Xiaofan clearly saw Yang Wu's fist coming towards him. Just as he was about to block, Yang Wu's fist disappeared. By the time he reacted, his chest had already been fiercely bombarded. Pooh! Xue Xiaofan spat out a mouthful of blood as his body was heavily sent flying. You have been forging for all these years. Although your body looks very strong, there are many damaged areas. If you don't repair them, your body will be crippled. As Yang Wu spoke, he continued to attack Xue Xiaofan. He slapped Xue Xiaofan's body continuously, completely crippling him. Then, he threw him into the medicine barrel. Properly remove the hidden injuries in your body, strengthen your body, and prepare to become a saint blacksmith. Chapter 1476. For an entire month, Yang Wu had been tempering AI Sha and Xue Xiaofan's foundations. Their improvements were very obvious, especially Xue Xiaofan's explosive strength. Xue Xiaofan originally had the bloodline of the barbarian tribe, and it wasn't low. Under the stimulation of the medicinal liquid, he became even more berserk. His body almost doubled in size, and his strength increased by a lot. He had reached the 5th stage, barbarian descent. Among the barbarians that Yang Wu had seen, only Little Man had reached this stage. It was obvious that Xue Xiaofan's bloodline power was not much weaker than Little Man's. Yang Wu was very satisfied with Xue Xiaofan's performance. When he was tempering his body, he did not make a sound. This endurance was much better than AI Sha's. He had also successfully broken through to the peak of the heavenly fish realm. All right, I've basically taught you everything that I can. The rest is up to you. Yang Wu stopped training Xue Xiaofan. The rest was up to his luck. Thank you for your teachings, master. Xue Xiaofan respectfully thanked Yang Wu. What happened between you and AI Sha? Yang Wu asked. Xue Xiaofan was clearly stunned for a moment. Then he replied, "Nothing. Do you think you can fool my eyes? Master, there's really nothing." Then I'll ask AI Sha. Don't. This has nothing to do with senior sister. It's my own problem. What's the problem? Why are you being so wishy-washy? I don't know where to start. Shui Xiaofan replied with a look of embarrassment. Yang Wu patted his shoulder and said, I brought the two of you from the mortal realm to the transcendent realm. I don't want there to be any barriers between the two of you. If there's anything, just say it. I'll help you ask. Did you pursue AI Sha and get rejected by her? Shui Xiaofan's face became gloomy. He nodded lightly and said, She doesn't like me. After a pause, he wiped a trace of unwillingness and said, But she shouldn't like another scum who plays with women. After Shui Xiaofan opened his mouth, he roughly explained the matter to Yang Wu. All these years, Shui Xiaofan had always liked AI Sha. However, AI Sha had a free and easy personality. She wasn't the kind of woman who could keep her cool. She could get along with many people, and she could interact with people from all walks of life. On the other hand, he was just an unknown blacksmith. Although the two of them were martial siblings, the two of them spoke less and less. It even felt like they were drifting apart. Shui Xiaofan wholeheartedly wanted to forge and become an outstanding alchemist. He also wanted to forge the best weapon for AI Sha. However, AI Sha actually hooked up with a playboy. Shui Xiaofan was so angry that he went to persuade AI Sha to stay away from that playboy. However, AI Sha not only ignored him, she also scolded him. This made him so angry that he cursed AI Sha a few times. AI Sha wasn't someone to be trifled with. She slapped him on the spot and told him to clean up his mouth. The relationship between the two of them was broken and it was difficult to repair. Shui Xiaofan still loved AI Sha deeply, but AI Sha's heart was with someone else. This made him feel at a loss. Yang Wu's other clone was also asking AI Sha the same thing. AI Sha's explanation was that although the person she liked was dissolute, his character was very good and his talent was extremely high. He was the only person she had found pleasing to the eye all these years. As for Shui Xiaofan, he was a taciturn person who didn't understand romance. The two of them were destined to never be together and could only be senior and junior brother. Yang Wu asked and found out that the person's name was Hua Su. He was a genius from the Mirage sect. He was a young man they met after going out to temper themselves. After he found out the whole story, he didn't pursue the matter. He called the two of them together and said solemnly, I don't care about the conflict between the two of you, but you have to understand that you are my, Yang Wu's, disciples. When you go out, you have to help each other. You absolutely can't kill each other, and you definitely can't lose your master's reputation. Master will set a goal for the two of you. I hope that the two of you can break through to the Star Rune realm within 10 years. Do you have the confidence to do it? The two of them didn't speak. What a joke. Breaking through to the Star Rune realm within 10 years was too big of a leap. Even if they were given 100 years to break through to the Star Rune realm, they would still be grinning from ear to ear. Asking them to do this in 10 years was too difficult for them. No confidence. Yang Wu frowned and said. AI Sha took the lead and said, Master, our cultivation talent is limited. Compared to you, it is too far away. We really don't have the confidence to break through to the Star Rune realm within 10 years. Give us 50 years. We will definitely break through in 50 years. From the Heavenly Fish realm to the Dragon Transformation realm to the Star Rune realm in one go. This wasn't an ordinary leap. She really didn't have the confidence. 50 years was already the fastest time she thought it would take. Shui Xiaofan said, I will do my best. He said this because he didn't dare to guarantee it. The goal his master had set for them was too difficult. Yang Wu looked at them and said coldly, Do you know what level of medicinal liquid I use to temper your foundation? It is a medicinal liquid that even saints might not be able to obtain. It has already changed your physique. I believe you can also feel it. It might be a little difficult for you to break through to the Star Rune realm within 10 years, but it is definitely not wishful thinking. Master has only cultivated for a dozen years, not even 20 years, and can already fight against the heavens. As my disciples, I only want you to break through to the Star Rune realm. This isn't too difficult. Next, I will give you some rare resources. These resources will be enough to help you improve faster. If you can't meet my requirements within 10 years, I will be very disappointed. After he finished speaking, he handed the 2 yin and yang rings to the two of them. Their fates would depend on themselves. The two of them solemnly took the yin and yang rings and left. I have already passed on the body tempering technique and the soul art to you. If you can't do it within 10 years, then your achievements will be limited. Yang Wu sighed in his heart. His requirements were indeed a little high, but he didn't feel that it was completely impossible. He gave each of them a drop of immortal liquid, which was enough for them to directly rush to the peak of the dragon transformation realm, or even directly break through to the star rune realm. From the looks of it, his requirements weren't high at all. In the following days, he stayed with Nan and Yang Yuan. Yang Zixing went into seclusion. This guy was innately stubborn. Ever since his strength was sealed by Yang Wu, he began to think of ways to increase his strength and break the seal as soon as possible. Yang Wu wasn't in a hurry to teach Yang Yuan some cultivation methods. He only passed on some ways to conduct himself. No matter what, he had grown up with his younger brother. Although he wasn't as powerful as his younger brother, he still learned the principles of conduct from books. He passed these principles one by one to Nan and Yang Yuan. Nan had been brought up by Hao Run and had been spoiled rotten. He had to teach her to distinguish right from wrong, good from evil. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good if she turned into a little witch. Yang Yuan was still a child and was the easiest to teach. He took Yang Wu's words to heart, and every word and action he spoke, and did his best to follow Yang Wu's example. Big brother, if there's a day when I'm spurned by the world and everyone wants to kill me, will you also despise me? After Nan heard Yang Wu's great principles, she felt that they were somewhat different from her thoughts. She couldn't help but ask the question in her heart. Yang Wu gently stroked her beautiful hair and said, "If the world spurns you, then I'll become the enemy of the entire world." At this moment, Nan looked at her big brother with a moved expression. Yang Yuan also waved a small fist and said, "I'll always stand on Master's side." Yang Wu stroked Yang Yuan's small head and smiled. So what if he became the enemy of the entire world? For his family, he could kill them with a single punch. For half a day, Yang Wu didn't cultivate at all. He stayed in the clan to accompany his family and deal with the big and small matters of the clan. However, his realm didn't fall behind. After the Supreme Nine profound arts merged with the Emperor Jade Xian's essence, its level rose by a level. Even if he didn't deliberately absorb energy, the power in his dantian was still rising steadily. There was still quite a distance to the 10th level of the Star Rune realm, but if this continued, he would break through very quickly. He didn't want to break through so quickly. At the very least, he wouldn't allow himself to break through to the Jade Moon realm before the Martial Saint Assembly. Not only did he want to participate in the Martial Saint Assembly, but he also wanted to participate in the Thousand Saints Assembly to see the geniuses of the various worlds. He also wanted to see if Yu would appear again. If she didn't appear again, he could smoothly obtain a spot to enter the God Realm and go to the God Realm to find her. A man who couldn't even protect his lover was nothing more than a piece of trash. In this half a year, he was also thinking about his future. First of all, the clan had to be stable and his family had a place to live. Only then would he have no more worries and be able to work hard to do what he wanted to do. Ever since the Yang family succeeded in expanding their territory, the Yang family city became more and more popular. A large number of alchemists also moved in one after another, and the industry in the city started developing. Mount Dao Verification, which was built by Yang Wu's fans, became a place of historical interest outside the Yang family city. Countless people went there every day to admire Yang Wu's grandeur, and they hoped that they could be half as grand as him. Yang Wu also cooperated and showed up at Mount Dao Verification, which pushed its popularity to the peak. Yang Wu left behind a clone's power of will, and if any young alchemist could attract the clone's attention, he would take them in as his disciple. After that, Mount of Dao Verification became even more amazing. By then, the Yang family had gained a large amount of wealth. They also started other businesses and quickly gained more wealth. Su Rome also contributed greatly to the Yang family. She was getting more and more used to cultivating planting immortals art, and she could cultivate a large number of spirit herbs. These spirit herbs could help many alchemists solve the problem of lacking herbs. Not only did she manage the herbs and medicine god temple, She also managed the large herb garden in the Yang family. She also took in more than 10 trustworthy women from the Yang family as her disciples and began teaching them how to cultivate herbs. Aside from these disciples, she also recruited thousands of servants to take care of the herb garden, and everything became prosperous. On this day, a guest that Yang Wu did not expect came to the Yang family. Chapter 1477. Meng Bingxue. He hadn't seen this woman for a long time. The relationship between Yang Wu and her was very complicated. Compared to Xu Yujun, he had known her earlier. Moreover, their relationship was incomparably close, so close that they could read each other's minds. Unfortunately, Meng Bingxue went back to the supernatural world and then to Mount Kunlun. After that, their relationship faded. Even though they still had some interactions, they couldn't get back to how they used to be. Yang Wu was grateful to Meng Bingxue for protecting him. Without her, he wouldn't have been able to live so comfortably in the mortal world. He had promised to go to Mount Kunlun to find her. However, after meeting her, he gave up the idea. She was living well in Mount Kunlun. She wanted to take back everything she had lost. That was why she gradually distanced herself from him. This time, she came to the Yang family secretly. Yang Wu was happy but worried at the same time. She came to him once to ask for a place to watch the ceremony. After that, they didn't contact each other again. She must have something to do this time. She was wearing a white dress. She looked like a fairy descending from the moon. All the men around couldn't take their eyes off her. Some of them even hit a tree and cried out in pain. She was really charming. Her temperament was also outstanding. Like the white hair witch, they were both cold women. Bingxue, you're here. Yang Wu saw Meng Bingxue and called her gently. Meng Bingxue's beautiful eyes flashed with a complicated look. After a while, she excitedly jumped into his arms. Yang Wu didn't know whether to dodge or not. He just let her jump into his arms. At the same time, Wan Lanxin arrived on her mount and saw this scene. Wan Lanxin was stunned. She didn't dodge. She jumped off her mount and walked toward Yang Wu and Meng Bingxue. Yang Wu noticed Wan Lanxin's arrival. He hurriedly pushed Meng Bingxue away. He looked guilty. After all, it was inappropriate for him to hug another woman in front of his wife. In the past 6 months, Yang Wu and Wan Lanxin had already become husband and wife. However, they didn't make a big deal out of it. They simply bowed in front of their clansmen. It was enough to let their clansmen know. It wasn't that Yang Wu didn't want to hold a grand wedding. With Yang Wu's status, it wasn't difficult for him to hold a wedding. The reason why he didn't hold one was that Wan Lanxin strongly requested it. She said, "I'm not the main wife, so there's no need for a big ceremony. Just informing the clansmen is enough." For that, Yang Wu felt guilty. That was why he pushed Meng Bingxue away. "Sister Bingxue, you are here." Wan Lanxin greeted Meng Bingxue. She had seen Meng Bingxue in the mortal world. She was also very clear about the relationship between Yang Wu and her. She did not blame Yang Wu, but it was inevitable that she felt a little sour in her heart. Meng Bingxue looked at Wan Lanxin and smiled. "Sister Lanxin, long time no see." Wan Lanxin replied, "Yes, long time no see. Sister, you have become more beautiful. No wonder our husband has been missing you." "Husband?" Meng Bingxue's expression changed. She felt as if her heart was being cut by a knife. Did she miss Yang Wu? "Yes, we held a wedding ceremony not long ago. My husband and I are officially married. Please forgive me for not informing sister." Wan Lanxin held Yang Wu's arm and smiled happily. Her intention was obvious. She wanted to tell Meng Bingxue that she and Yang Wu were married. She didn't want Meng Bingxue to get involved. Yang Wu didn't know what to say. He had mixed feelings. This is the consequence of being a playboy. He blamed himself. "Then I have to congratulate you," Meng Bingxue said reluctantly. Then she said, "I'm just passing by to see an old friend. If there is nothing else, I will leave first." After that, she turned around and left quickly. A drop of crystal-clear tear fell down in the air. "Goodbye, Yang Wu," Meng Bingxue thought. She did come here to ask Yang Wu for help. Unfortunately, they had changed. They were not as carefree as before. Yang Wu looked at Meng Bingxue leaving. His soul suddenly felt a sense of death. He panicked. He said to Wan Lanxin, "Something might have happened to her. I will go and see." After that, he didn't care whether Wan Lanxin would stop him or not. He quickly chased after Meng Bingxue. Wan Lanxin opened her mouth. She wanted to stop Yang Wu, but in the end, she didn't say anything. She stomped her foot and said, "Playboy, I will teach you a lesson when I come back." She wasn't a narrow-minded person. Otherwise, she wouldn't have stayed by Yang Wu's side. Recently, there had been a lot of clansmen who wanted Yang Mami to be Yang Wu's concubine. They hoped that she could give birth to a strong child. She didn't feel good about it, but she had met Yang Mami. If the pulse replenishment body was so magical, she didn't mind Yang Mami joining them. However, Yang Wu never relented and did not agree to this matter. She always knew that Yang Wu was a person who knew when to stop. She was lucky enough to have Yang Wu. How could it be so easy to bind him to her side forever? Yang Wu was so outstanding. There were many women who wanted to follow him. Many Sanuses from big clans had said that if they could marry Yang Wu, they would be willing to sacrifice 100 years of their lives. It showed how charming Yang Wu was. If she had to accept another woman as her sister, she would rather choose a woman who she already knew. Wan Lanxin didn't think about it anymore. She went back to the clan. In the distance, Yang Wu quickly caught up with Meng Bingxue. "Bingxue, what happened?" Yang Wu pulled Meng Bingxue and asked. Meng Bingxue wanted to get rid of Yang Wu, but no matter how hard she struggled, she couldn't get rid of him. She replied with tears in her eyes, "You go. Don't worry about me. How can I not care about you? You used to protect me. I said I would protect you one day. Now, it is my turn to protect you. Tell me, no matter what it is, as long as I can help you, I will help you," Yang Wu said seriously. Meng Bingxue shook her head and said, "I am not who I used to be. Although I helped you, you helped me get my mind back. We are even now." "What do you mean even? Don't think that I can't sense that you're ready to die. What's the matter that made you so embarrassed? I can definitely help you." Yang Wu grabbed her shoulder and said loudly, "Boo-hoo." Meng Bingxue couldn't control her emotions anymore. She burst into tears. Yang Wu held her in his arms. His mood was affected by her emotions. He became sad. Meng Bingxue didn't know how long she cried. She got rid of Yang Wu's arms and looked at Yang Wu seriously. She said, "Yang Wu, please help me. If you help me this time, I will do whatever you want me to do. I am willing to be your slave or maid. I just want you to help me this time." Since she used a pleading tone, it was obvious that what she had encountered was not simple. "Speak." Yang Wu also realized the seriousness of the situation, and a solemn expression appeared on his face. "My teacher is going to be killed by them. If you don't go and save her, she will die. I want you to save her," Meng Bingxue said in a begging tone. "Who are they?" "It is Kun Mingzi. He wants to take the position of the master of the Kunlun sect. He started to eliminate his opponents. My teacher has been eyeing the position of the master of the Kunlun sect for a long time. So she had a conflict with Kun Mingzi. She was captured by Kun Mingzi. If my teacher didn't ask me to run away at the critical moment, I am afraid I would have been captured by them." "Are you sure your teacher is still alive?" "Yes. She left me a decree. The jade slip is still full of energy. It means she is still alive. But I know Kun Mingzi. He will do whatever it takes. He will not let my teacher live a good life. Please save her." Yang Wu roughly understood the cause of the matter. Kunlun's sect was in chaos. Meng Bingxue's teacher was captured by Kun Mingzi. As an outsider, he shouldn't get involved in this kind of thing. However, he couldn't refuse Meng Bingxue's begging. What should he do? "I will go with you to Kunlun's sect." Yang Wu didn't think much and quickly made a decision. He had promised her that he would go to Kunlun's sect for her. He didn't want to disappoint her, even if it was a dragon's pool or a tiger's den. Really? Meng Bingxue didn't expect Yang Wu to agree so quickly. She couldn't believe it. "Of course. I said I would go to Kunlun sect to take you away one day. So what if I go to Kunlun sect for you now?" Yang Wu said affirmatively. At this moment, Meng Bingxue felt guilty. She had been thinking that only Yang Wu could help her, but she didn't think about whether Yang Wu had the ability to help her. What if Yang Wu lost his life? Forget it. I will go back to save my teacher. I can't let you be in danger. Meng Bingxue said and was about to leave. Yang Wu once again pulled her back and said seriously, "At this time, you can still think of me. This proves that you treat me as a good friend in your heart. How can I let you down? But before we go, you have to tell me about Kunlun's situation. We can't rashly throw our lives away. Meng Bingxue calmed down and nodded. You are right. Let's talk about it. There must be a reason why they didn't kill my teacher. She paused for a while and then said with a frightened face, Is he trying to lure you into his trap? Yang Wu frowned, and a look of doubt appeared on his face. I escaped from Kunlun's sect so easily. It must be because of him. If it wasn't for him, how could I escape? I suspect his target is you. Meng Bingxue said with a frightened face. You mean Kun Mingzi? That's right. He is getting stronger and stronger. He said he would trample you under his feet and tell the world that he is the most outstanding God's favorite. So what? Don't you understand? He let me go because he wants me to ask you for help. If you go to Kunlun's sect, you will die. No, I can't let you go to Kunlun's sect. Chapter 1478. Meng Bingxue realized that Kun Mingzi wanted to let her go. Yang Wu was a loyal person. He had gone to the Purple Cloud Palace for Ziyuyu. He had almost died for Meng Bingxue in the Dragon Phoenix Valley. This time, Kun Mingzi did it again. He wanted to lure Yang Wu to his death. Would he really think that much? Will he come to me after you escaped? Yang Wu couldn't believe it. No, that must be it. He is a very sinister person. He is very scheming. He always uses one person to push 3 people away. I think my teacher and I have fallen into his trap. Meng Bingxue said with certainty. So we just let it go. Yang Wu believed Meng Bingxue's analysis was right, but he didn't think she would be willing to let it go. Sometimes, she knew there was a tiger in a mountain, but she still wanted to go there. I don't know what to do, Meng Bingxue said sadly. Then she continued, Normally, my teacher hates me for not living up to her expectations. However, I've been following her since I was a child. She has raised me up. I cannot let her be in danger alone. I will go back and beg Kun Mingzi to let my teacher go. We will leave Mount Kunlun together. I hope he will let us live. You think too much. Since he has made such a plan, if I don't appear, he will definitely be very angry. At that time, he will definitely torture you and your master. He won't let you go easily. If you trust me, then leave this matter to me. I will talk to him. How do you want to talk to him? Don't forget that I am a godly pharmacist. With Meng Bingxue's analysis, Yang Wu didn't take the risk to go to Kunlun. Instead, he calmed down and thought of other ways to save his teacher. His method was very simple. He would directly ask Kunming Zi for the person and see what conditions the other party would offer. If the conditions were acceptable, he would trade. If the other party did not want to trade, then there was nothing he could do. The Kunlun sect was not inferior to the Purple Cloud Palace. In fact, its foundation was even deeper. This was the birthplace of the martial ancestor of the human tribe. It was the ancient mountain range where the human tribe lived. The Kunlun sect was established there, which represented the supreme glory. Yang Wu brought Meng Bingxue back to the Yang family. He summoned Peng Yuan and asked for his opinion. Of course, Peng Yuan was opposed to him going to Kunlun. He was already the leader of a clan, and the matter was of great importance. He could not take risks easily. If I don't go to Kunlun, how can I save them? Yang Wu emphasized. Peng Yuan muttered to himself for a moment before saying, My idea is to bring that young Lady Meng down and pretend to send someone to negotiate. If the negotiation fails, then there's nothing we can do. On one hand, we can appease her, and on the other hand, the clan head won't have to take any risks. Even if that's the case, my conscience still feels bad. Then we'll send someone to negotiate sincerely. See what the other side wants, and then we'll make a decision. However, this matter is very dangerous, so the person we send has to be careful. That's true. Kun Mingzi is extremely ambitious. He's even begun to scheme for the position of clan head. There's nothing he won't do. Who in the clan can take on such an important role? Clan head. I think that Protector Chu Rong is the most suitable person to go. Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and said, All right, we'll send Chu Rong. Chu Rong was already under Gong Xilan's control and was absolutely loyal to the Yang family. He had always been a consecrator of the Yang family. In reality, he was just a puppet. He was already at the Jade Moon realm. If he went, he would be able to protect himself. On the other hand, he would be able to express the importance of this matter. It was killing two birds with one stone. After deciding on a candidate, Yang Wu met with Meng Bingxue and told her his decision. When she heard that Yang Wu was sending a Jade Moon Realm expert to negotiate, she was once again moved and threw herself into Yang Wu's embrace. Her master's strength was not ordinary. She was also a half-step into the heaven-piercing realm, but she was still inferior to a true Jade Moon Realm expert. If a Jade Moon Realm expert came to negotiate, whether or not it was effective, she would be grateful to Yang Wu for everything he had done for her. Yang Wu's actions had undoubtedly increased the number of enemies for the Yang family. There were no benefits to be had. Meng Bingxue was annoyed that she had caused trouble for Yang Wu. Yang Wu was very carefree. He didn't dwell on this matter. Instead, he accompanied her to chat and relax, so that she wouldn't have to worry for the time being. Yang Wu didn't stay with Meng Bingxue for long before Wan Lanxin took the initiative to come over and accompany her. Yang Wu couldn't refuse, so he could only let her do as she pleased. Lan Xian, Bingxue's situation isn't very good right now. Don't provoke her anymore. When her matter is settled, I'll explain it to you, Yang Wu said and left. He didn't wait for Chu Rong's reply. Instead, he left the clan and found Lu Ji, who was walking outside the Yang family city. This beautiful military advisor had been walking around the Yang family city for the past few years. Other than him, there were also a few formation masters scattered in different places. Yang Wu wanted to lay down a large formation, and this heavy burden fell on Lu Ji's shoulders. When Yang Wu saw Lu Ji, he was covered in mud. His hair was messy, and there was a strange smell coming from his body. He was a far cry from his usual clean and elegant appearance. Beautiful military advisor, you look like the first time I saw you in the barracks. Yang Wu couldn't help but laugh. Lu Ji pulled his messy hair and replied, "My lord, you don't know the hardships of the human world. If we don't slowly figure out the environment here, the formation I could be destroyed at any time. Then it wouldn't be worth it. Then how's your progress?" "Almost there. We can start laying down the formation at any time. It's a pity that my master isn't willing to help. Otherwise, it would be much easier." "It's fine. Without your master, we still have a few heaven-reaching grandmasters. Laying down a surveillance formation isn't that hard." Yang Wu and Lu Ji's plan was to set up a surveillance divine formation around the Yang family city. As long as there were living beings from the outside world that approached, they would be able to detect them immediately. Furthermore, they would be able to know what was happening in the city at any time. When Lu Ji and a few formation masters worked together to draw all the formation patterns and formed a large formation, Yang Wu called Yu Huaijin, his grandmother, and Yu Chang over. He used their restriction power to open up a large formation here. 3 heaven-reaching grandmasters and Yang Wu himself were enough to set up the restriction power according to the formation patterns. "Are you ready?" Lu Ji said loudly to the people standing in different positions. "Anytime," the others replied in unison. "Set up the formation," Lu Ji shouted. He and the other formation masters activated their respective formations at the same time. These formation masters were all top-notch Saint formation masters. Furthermore, Lu Ji also had the understanding of a divine formation master. With them working together, they were able to lay down half a divine formation. Together with the 4 heaven-reaching grandmasters' powers, it was enough to turn it into a divine formation. Yang Wu, Yu Huaijin, Gong Salan, and Yu Chang moved at the same time. They guided the power of heaven and earth and acted according to the formation patterns. They imbued the formation patterns with heaven-reaching grandmasters' power and strengthened the formation. Xiao Xiao. 10,000 rays of light flickered and floated in the sky. It gave all the creatures in this area a huge shock. With such a commotion, even the weakest creatures could see the shocking power of heaven and earth that appeared in the sky. They intertwined into a net and hid in the sky. They also hid in the 4 corners of the earth. After the formation eye's power gathered, a blinding brilliance was born. Many creatures were so shocked that they couldn't even open their eyes. "Divine Eye." Lu Ji's voice sounded again. Thus, a fiery red eye flew out from Yang Wu's Qian Kuan space. It was the phoenix eye, the divine eye obtained from the dragon phoenix abyss. After the formation's power gathered in the phoenix eye, the phoenix eye seemed to have come alive. A fiery phoenix flew out and flew above the ground. It dyed the sky red and added an auspicious atmosphere to the land. Divine mirror. Lu Ji's voice sounded again. Another divine mirror flew out from Yang Wu's body. It was the divine mirror of appraisal that he obtained from the Peace Palace. This divine mirror and the eye of the phoenix converged and reflected the fiery light in all directions. Fuse the formation. Yang Wu, the three heaven-reaching grandmasters, and the other formation masters worked together. They started to fuse the formation and completed the last step. Everyone worked together, and the formation completely fused together. The divine mirror and the eye of the phoenix became the two most important formation eyes. They could see everything that was happening in the Yang family town through them. After the formation was fused, the natural phenomenon began to shrink. Finally, it returned to normal. Is this considered fun? Yang Wu looked at Lu Ji and asked, "What else? This took us a year. It's more than enough to set up such a divine formation. When my cultivation level increases, I'll make up for it in the future. For now, it's enough. You can give it a try," Lu Ji replied. Yang Wu did not doubt him. He hurriedly activated the divine mirror of appraisal. The divine mirror began to show the Yang family town and its surroundings. "Wherever you want to see, use your power to look there," Lu Ji reminded. Yang Wu had used the divine mirror of appraisal before and knew how to use it. He began to adjust different angles to see the situation. Sure enough, just as Lu Ji had said, he could see different situations. The others also felt that it was magical. They did not expect the divine mirror to have such a miraculous effect. Yang Wu handed the divine mirror to Gong Salon. He wanted her to take a look at it. In the future, she would be the one to wield the mirror. Gong Salon did not have much ambition. She only wanted to guard the Yang family town. It was best for her to use the divine mirror to observe everything. In the end, Yu Chang and also took the mirror and played with it. Lu Ji said proudly beside him, "How is it? Do you feel that my formation skills are amazing?" Yu Chang and gave Lu Ji a look of disdain and said immoral. Other than the divine mirror, the eye of the phoenix also had a unique function. It could see through the void and find the deity-level life forms that were hiding in the Yang family town. It could also use attack techniques. With the protection of the divine mirror array, the Yang family town's safety would be increased. It would not be easy for anyone to sneak in. Patriarch, look here. Isn't that your disciple, AI Shah? Yu Chang, and looked at the divine mirror and said in surprise. Chapter 1479. The divine mirror could see everything in the Yang family city and its surroundings. Yu Chang and accidentally glanced at Yang Wu's disciple, AI Shah, attracting Yang Wu's attention. At this moment, AI Shah was not in the city. She was already brought out of the city. Accompanying her was a handsome young man. Both of their actions were very intimate. It was obvious that they had already become a couple. When Yang Wu saw AI Shah together with that young man, he frowned slightly. A trace of unhappiness flashed past his face. Both of them were riding on the same horse on the official road. Their actions were too intimate. It was really too outrageous. AI Shah's natural disposition was free and easy. She was a child who came out from the slums. After so many years, she had seen more and more things, but her nature was hard to change. Yang Wu was not really angry because of this matter. Young people had their own lives and thoughts. He did not want to interfere too much. But looking at the young man who was riding with her, he had an indescribable feeling of disgust. He just did not like the other party. Forget it. It's none of their business. Yang Wu turned his head away and said, just when Yu Chang and was preparing to move the divine mirror, he seemed to have noticed something and said, "Something's wrong. There's something wrong with that brat." On one of the main roads outside the Yang family city, there was a pair of man and woman sitting on a horse. It was AI Shah and the man she liked, Hua Su. This man was indeed very handsome. He was the type who would be popular with both young and old. Both of them were riding on the same silver snow colt. Their ears were constantly rubbing against each other. They seemed to be incomparably intimate. AI Shah's delicate face became red. Her breathing became heavier. The young man behind her was getting more and more insatiable. That pair of perverted pig's hands moved towards her sensitive place. No. Aisha grabbed her opponent's wrist and said, Shah, don't be nervous. I love you too much. Huasu said with a trace of evil aura. No, we're already going overboard. It won't be good if others see us like this. We can't act recklessly anymore. AI Shah was still able to control her own desires as she responded. She didn't know why, but her body felt hot and uncomfortable, as if she was constantly being grabbed by something. She had already realized that something was wrong, but she couldn't believe that he was the one who did it. Then I won't mess around. You'll be mine sooner or later anyway. Huasu wasn't in a hurry and said lightly with a smile on his face. AI Shah did not know that he had smeared some special perfume on his hands and feet, and when this perfume was smeared on her body, it would arouse her primitive desires. This guy was up to no good. The two of them stopped by a small lake with a nice view. AI Shah's body was getting softer and softer, and her face was getting redder and redder. She had no choice but to circulate her energy to get rid of this feeling. At the critical moment, Huasu held her in his arms and said, AI Shah, will you be my woman today? I will treat you well and won't let you suffer any grievances. After saying this, he moved towards AI Shah and forcefully kissed her. AI Shah's body was weak and couldn't escape. When she was kissed, she felt like the world was spinning. She grabbed onto her last bit of reason and bit Huasu, as well as her own tongue. See, Huasu was bleeding from AI Shah's bite. He let her go, and she took the chance to stuff a pill in her mouth. Unfortunately, just as she was about to take the pill, Huasu reached out and slapped it away. What do you want? AI Shah's mind was very smart. She quickly retreated as she realized that the other party had bad intentions. Shah, I wanted to do something with you for a long time. Today, please help me. I don't have time to waste with you anymore. Huasu said with a trace of greed. Huasu had already figured out AI Shah's identity. She was Yang Wu's disciple. If he could take her down, he wouldn't have to worry about pills for the rest of his life. Moreover, he might even be able to obtain Yang Wu's guidance. Don't be like this. I'll be yours sooner or later. AI Shah said weakly. I don't want to wait so long. I want to see your master Yang Wu. I want him to acknowledge my existence. You didn't dare to bring me to see him because you haven't become my woman. From today onwards, after you become my woman, I believe that you will bring me to see your master. After Huasu said this, he rushed towards AI Shah. He wanted to do her on the spot as soon as possible to avoid any more trouble. Before he could touch AI Shah, an arrow shot towards his direction. He was so scared that he quickly dodged. Who's ruining this young master's good deed? Huasu shouted in dissatisfaction. Get lost. The person coldly shouted. Looking closely, it was Shui Xiaofan. He appeared in time and didn't let Huasu have his way. It's you, Huasu frowned and said. The next moment, he quickly rushed towards AI Shah. You still dare to act recklessly. Shui Xiaofan was anxious. He quickly rushed over. He would never allow AI Shah to be hurt. AI Shah had already turned into a ball. She didn't even have the strength to take out the pills. She saw Huasu come over and wanted to resist, but couldn't. She was very annoyed. Huasu grabbed AI Shah with one hand and quickly ran away. Since the matter had been exposed, they couldn't stay any longer. Where do you think you're going? Shui Xiaofan was anxious. This time, he didn't bring anyone with him. He only secretly chased after Huasu. He didn't expect Huasu to be so bold. He chased with all his might and continuously shot arrows, but he still couldn't make Huasu stay. Huasu's strength was stronger than his, and his speed was also faster. Seeing Huasu run further and further away, Huasu's movements actually slowed down. Smelly Bien, you dare to resist. Huasu let out a roar. Obviously, he was met with AI Shah's counterattack. Don't you dare hurt my senior sister. Shui Xiaofan saw Huasu's anger explode. He was very worried. He swallowed a speed pill and rushed over to save her as fast as he could. Before he arrived, the heavy hammer in his hand was already smashing towards Hua Su's head. Just as the hammer was about to land on Hua Su's head, Hua Su lifted Aisha up to meet the heavy hammer. He laughed wildly and said, "If you have the ability, come and beat her to death." Xue Xiaofan was scared out of his wits. He hurriedly changed the direction of the heavy hammer and hit the other side of the attack. Hua Su took the opportunity to fight back. "Idiot." After he scolded, he raised his hand. There was a special fragrance floating in the air. His hand angrily slammed towards Xue Xiaofan's chest. Pooh! Xue Xiaofan lost his composure and was sent flying by the other party's palm. He spat out blood. After Hua Su's attack succeeded, he did not give Xue Xiaofan any chance to escape. He chased after him and slammed his palm repeatedly. Bang bang! Xue Xiaofan became the other party's punching bag. He was hit by palm after palm and could not defend himself. Such a sharp attack could only be done by someone in the dragon transformation realm. Hua Su had been hiding his strength. He was a low-level dragon transformation realm expert. "I didn't want to kill you, but now I can't let you live." Hua Su's killing intent rose. He slammed towards Xue Xiaofan's head. Just as Xue Xiaofan was about to be killed, he finally counterattacked. Roar! Barbarian form descent. A terrifying bloodline power surged in his body. He seemed to have turned into a terrifying beast. A barbarian elephant descended. His powerful aura suppressed Hua Su. He threw out a barbarian dragon fist. Bang! Xue Xiaofan's powerful attack was extremely domineering. Hua Su was sent flying with blood spurting out of his mouth. "Do you really think I'm a sick cat?" Xue Xiaofan roared as he stabilized himself. Not long ago, he had just received guidance from his master. Now he was at a disadvantage. He felt that he had let his master down. Now, he could not embarrass his master. Just now, Hua Su's attack was very strong, and he was also not lightly injured. To him, this was nothing. The only difficult thing was that the fragrance that invaded his body would actually corrode his tendons and veins, causing him to be powerless. The moment he blasted Hua Su away, he saved Aisha and prepared to feed her the antidote. He was sure that he had been deceived by Hua Su just now. Aisha simply did not have the strength to fight back. "Be careful," Aisha reminded weakly. Xue Xiaofan only cared about saving Aisha. He did not care about the danger behind him. A huge shield flew over and blocked his back. Hua Su's sneak attack was not able to break through the defense of this huge shield. "Senior sister, stay here. I'll take care of him." At this moment, Xue Xiaofan became extremely confident. After feeding Aisha the pill, he carried her on his back and swung the heavy hammer in his hand towards Hua Su. The path of weapon refinement. With a swing of the hammer, 10,000 weapons appeared. Under Yang Wu's guidance, Xue Xiaofan had comprehended the danger of the path of weapon refinement. His battle strength was not inferior to that of a dragon transformation realm cultivator. "How can you be so strong?" Hua Su said with a serious expression. He sped up his attack, trying his best to take down Xue Xiaofan and Aisha. Phantom steps. Hua Su from the Phantom sect was not just for show. He had learned all kinds of battle techniques from the Phantom sect. His battle strength was not bad. After increasing his speed, he transformed into many shadows and fought fiercely with Xue Xiaofan. Hua Su's realm was higher than Xue Xiaofan. He thought that he could suppress Xue Xiaofan, but he underestimated Xue Xiaofan's brute strength. His consecutive attacks were all blocked by Xue Xiaofan. Although he forced Xue Xiaofan to retreat, he did not injure his vitals. This made him extremely frustrated. He roared, "I don't believe that I can't take you down." A pair of strange scythes appeared in his hands. He swung the scythes down. It was like a mantis had appeared, crazily attacking Xue Xiaofan. Mantis scythe crescent slash. "Sure, Zuin, I won't embarrass you." Xue Xiaofan roared. He pushed all his strength to the limit. His strength was boundless, and his body grew bigger. The heavy hammer in his hand was filled with unlimited energy. It became quite huge and smashed toward Hua Su's attack. Rumble, rumble. The heavy hammer smashed through Hua Su's attack with an unstoppable force, and then flew towards Hua Su. Shui Xiaofan's strength completely suppressed Hua Su's strength. AI Sha, who was awake, murmured, "Shidi's battle strength is so strong." Hua Su turned pale with fright. He did not dare to block. He turned around and quickly fled. He left behind a ruthless remark. "Shui Xiaofan, I will remember you." Shui Xiaofan wanted to chase, but his speed could not keep up. He had to give up. Suddenly, an earth-shattering palm print swept over from afar and slapped towards Hua Su's direction. Bang! Chapter 1480. Hua Su, the prodigy from the Phantom Sect, was slapped into a pool of blood. He couldn't be more dead. Shui Xiaofan and AI Sha saw this scene, and their faces were filled with shock. Immediately after, a figure appeared in front of them. They hurriedly said respectfully, "Greetings, Master." "You've really disappointed your master," Yang Wu said coldly as he looked at the two of them. The two of them immediately lowered their heads, not daring to look at Yang Wu. Yang Wu lightly waved his hand and a power fell on them, directly wiping away the fragrance on their bodies. He said, "Such an obvious soft fragrance powder, and you actually didn't guard against it. Are you too stupid? The pills I prepared for you have the antidote. Didn't you even have the time to take one? I can't believe you were bullied to this extent. Especially you, Aisha. You must be blind to not be able to distinguish between a man with a human face and a beast's heart. To think that you're someone's big sister. You're really shameful. And Shui Xiaofan, you only have brute force, yet you spent so much effort to defeat him. Don't tell me that you're worried about her safety, which is why you're so restrained. The methods that I just taught you were wasted." After saying this, he didn't care about the two of them and disappeared. This time, he was really angry. These two disciples' talents were limited, but he had high hopes for them. Unfortunately, their performance was too disappointing. He didn't know what kind of scheming Hua Su was, but it was very obvious that he used despicable means. His two disciples still fell for it, which made him feel very disappointed. Also, during the battle, they didn't manage to quickly subdue the enemy and save them. They even let the enemy escape. Their performance was really bad. He had just taught them one-on-one, but they couldn't even take down such an opponent. How could he not be disappointed and distressed? If they weren't in a Yang clan's territory, they would have died in a foreign land. He wasn't afraid of them losing. He was afraid that they couldn't afford to lose. My disciple has failed. Yang Wu blamed himself in his heart. Shui Xiaofan and AI Sha stood in place, unable to speak for a long time. After an unknown amount of time, AI Sha said, "Thank you, junior brother." How long had it been since she took the initiative to talk to Shui Xiaofan? In her eyes, Shui Xiaofan was just a blacksmith. He was dull and unromantic. He was completely different from her, so there was no way she could communicate with him. This time, if it weren't for Shui Xiaofan, not only would she have lost her virginity, she wouldn't have been able to see through Hua Su's character. "No need," Shui Xiaofan replied. AI Sha asked again, "Why did you follow me? Are you worried about me?" "I don't think he's a good person," Shui Xiaofan replied calmly. Then he said, "We should go back. We can't let Master down any longer." AI Sha said seriously, "I'm sorry, junior brother. I hope you don't blame me." After a pause, she said, "Actually," without waiting for her to finish, Shui Xiaofan waved his hand and said, "Senior sister, there's no need to say anymore. You didn't do anything wrong. I also did something wrong. In the future, I will only focus on cultivating and refining weapons. I won't be distracted by anything else. Senior sister, you can rest assured." After saying this, he confidently walked away. At this moment, he was clear about the path he wanted to take. He had cast aside his feelings for her. There was no point in him forcing AI Sha to be with him. It would only make AI Sha unhappy. It was better to let go. Who said that letting go wasn't a type of love? Shui Xiaofan's knot in his heart was untied. AI Sha looked at Shui Xiaofan's back and couldn't help but feel melancholy. She felt that something important was gradually leaving her. After Shui Xiaofan returned to the Yang clan, the first thing he did was to find his master. He knelt down and said, "I'm sorry, master. I've let you down. I promise that from today onwards, I will cultivate well and work hard to become stronger. I won't lose master's face again." At this moment, Shui Xiaofan had finally grown up. Yang Wu revealed a gratified expression and said, "Losing Master's face is secondary. Losing your lives is the most important thing. Master is very happy that you've come to your senses. I plan to go out and temper myself. Master, please allow me to do so." Shui Xiaofan said, "You've already grown up. This matter is up to you. Master won't interfere with your Tao." "Many thanks, Master. I definitely won't let Master down again. And go. The next time we meet, I believe you'll give me a big surprise." Just like that, Shui Xiaofan went out to temper himself. People had to go through trials and tribulations to grow. In the past, he was still a youth without any martial skills. He had crossed the Wolf Smoke mountain range and arrived in Great Xia with a will to take revenge. This was enough to show how extraordinary his perseverance was. This time, he would definitely be able to become an eagle spreading its wings. Just as Shui Xiaofan left, Ai Sha came again. She knelt down and admitted her mistake. However, she was stopped by Yang Wu. "I can't accept your kneeling," Yang Wu said coldly. Ai Sha instantly panicked. "Master, I know my mistake. I know my mistake. Please forgive me this time." "What did you do wrong?" Yang Wu asked in return. "I was wrong for not knowing the right person. I was wrong for letting junior apprentice brother down. I won't do it again. Please believe me," Ai Sha replied. In the past, she was just a little beggar in the slums who didn't have enough to eat or warm clothes. Without her master, she wouldn't be where she was today. If her master abandoned her today, she wouldn't know what to do. "It seems like you still haven't realized your mistake. You can go back," Yang Wu said disappointedly. No, I really know my mistake. I've embarrassed Master. Master, please give me another chance." Ai Sha cried. "All right, I'll give you another chance," Yang Wu replied. He used his power to suppress Ai Sha, causing her to kneel down instantly. "The reason why I took you out of the slums was because I promised your father in the mountain prison that I would take care of you for him. So I followed his orders. Now that I've raised you and taught you skills, it's easy for you to survive. It can be said that I have a clear conscience toward your father. If he can come back from the dead, he might even thank me. You, on the other hand, have been bewitched by a man to the point that your head is spinning. You even revealed the matters of the family and my matters to him. The other party is using you to get close to me. Even if he doesn't want to harm me, he wants to harm me, the family, and even you. You don't know right from wrong. Is it your fault or not?" Yang Wu's words were like knives. Aisha lowered her head and sobbed. She blamed herself incomparably. She had always thought that she was very smart and excellent. Now, she found that she was just an idiot woman who was played by a man in the palm of his hand. Little Fan has already left the family and is preparing to train by herself. You should go out too. If you can reach the Star Mark realm in 10 years, you'll still be my disciple. If you can't reach it in 10 years, then don't come back." Yang Wu coldly waved his hand and said, "Master." Ai Sha's beautiful eyes widened. She couldn't believe that Yang Wu would say such words. She had only made one mistake. Was he going to kill her? "Let's go," Yang Wu said with his back facing her. Ai Sha knew that Yang Wu had already given up on her. With a face full of tears, she said, "Many thanks for Master's nurturing for so many years. Ai Sha will never forget it. I will definitely break through to the Star Mark realm in 10 years and not disappoint Master's expectations." After speaking, she kowtowed a few times to Yang Wu before standing up and leaving the Yang clan. After Ai Sha left, Wan Lanxin walked out and looked at Yang Wu. "Are you really so cruel?" "I have no choice but to be cruel." Yang Wu sighed. They've just reached adulthood, and they haven't suffered much. They've been growing up under your care. What's the big deal about making some mistakes? Just teach them well, Wan Lanxin persuaded. I have taught them separately for an entire month, but the result is still too disappointing. If a jade is not cut, it won't be useful. Letting them suffer outside is not bad. Moreover, their strength is enough to protect themselves. Yang Wu replied, "All right, I hope they don't disappoint." Wan Lanxin saw that she couldn't persuade Yang Wu and could only give up. She changed the topic and said, "Is there any progress on Sister Bing Shui's matter? There should be a reply soon." Yang Wu replied. However, not long after, news came back that Chu Rong had been detained by Kunlun. The news that came from Kunlun was that Chu Rong had barged into Kunlun and injured Kunlun disciples. He had offended Kunlun and attracted Kunlun's grand elder, who had captured him in one fell swoop. They also announced that Chu Rong and the traitor Bao Cai would be executed in half a month. After Yang Wu received this news, his expression instantly turned serious. The other party didn't give him any face at all. He originally thought that by showing some sincerity, the other party would let them go, who knew that the other party would play the blame game and capture Chu Rong. Furthermore, they announced the execution time. It was obvious that they wanted to force him to go to Kunlun. He had no choice but to gather the two strategists to ask for a plan. Chu Rong has been captured and executed within a time limit. What is Kunlun's intention? Yang Wu asked them. It seems that the other party doesn't care about the money involved in the transaction. No matter who goes to negotiate, they will be detained. They must be after something against Patriarch. Peng Yuan sighed. The target is so clear. My lord, you don't have to avoid it. Why don't you just challenge them directly? Lu Ji said lazily. Challenge them directly? Yang Wu was puzzled. That's right. Isn't their target to deal with Patriarch? Why don't you make friends through martial arts and issue a challenge to Kuan Mingzi and see if he accepts it? If he accepts, this matter will be easy to handle. When the time comes, you will state your conditions. If you win, you will let them go. If he doesn't accept, it will prove that they are plotting to harm my lord. There is no need for my lord to take the risk to save them. Lu Ji said. Peng Yuan slapped his thigh and said, Lu Ji is right. Why didn't I think of that? Lu Ji's intelligence is indeed above mine. Lu Ji said modestly, Brother Peng Yuan, you flatter me. You didn't say that because you were worried about my lord's safety. I don't have such concerns. All right, then issue the challenge. Chapter 1481. The patriarch of the Yang family, Yang Wu, had issued a challenge to Kunlun's sect master, Kuan Mingzi. When this news spread, the transcendent world was in an uproar. Yang Wu was not only a divine apothecary, but he was also a powerful martial sage. In the future, when the martial sage assembly began, as long as he was still in the Saint Realm, he would definitely be one of the top martial sages. Why did he take the initiative to challenge Kuan Mingzi? When they thought of Chu Rong's recent capture, they instantly understood the meaning. Was Yang Wu trying to save Chu Rong? With Yang Wu's current status, he shouldn't make such a big fuss. He shouldn't make an enemy of Kunlun. Didn't the Yang family have enough enemies? Just as everyone was guessing whether Kuan Mingzi would accept the challenge, the news spread. Kuan Mingzi had accepted the challenge. The two would fight at the peak of Kunlun at the end of the month. However, Kuan Mingzi had set a rule. They would decide the victor within 3 moves. Instantly, the transcendent world was filled with discussions about them. Yang Wu's divine apothecary challenged Kunlun's new sect master, Kuan Mingzi. This is the most anticipated battle after Dao Brothers' challenge to Hao Run. Yang Wu is definitely the most outstanding genius in the past 1,000 years. No, in the past 10,000 years. There is no one like him. He is the invincible emperor of the Dragon Phoenix list and the youngest divine apothecary in the history of Dao verification. He led a team to attack the Purple Cloud Palace and came out alive from the legendary divine cloud Forbidden Land. He fought against heavenly figures and has already surpassed 90% of the old seniors. How can Kuan Mingzi compare with Yang Wu? The past generations of the Kunlun sect leaders were all at least top-notch Saint Realm before they were qualified to take on the role. Kuan Mingzi has suddenly taken over the position. I'm afraid that his strength is not inferior to that of a top-notch Saint Realm expert. Moreover, he had defeated Yang Wu Dao in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. The two of them already have a grudge. I wonder if this battle is to resolve a grudge? Hurry to the peak of Kunlun. Don't miss the battle between Dao Brother and Hao Run like last time. The winner of this battle will determine who is the number 1 of the younger generation. Kunlun Mountains. The Kunlun sect was built in one of the corners. It occupied a total of 365 mountain ranges and 108 valleys, which converged to form a large paradise. Palaces were built against the mountains. Wispy clouds floated past, spirit cranes flew past, and waterfalls hung upside down between the mountains. It was truly a paradise on earth. The Kunlun Mountains were also known as the Kunlun Mountains. It was also the number one divine mountain in the transcendent world. It was the land of the ancestors, the land of the dragon veins, and the birthplace of the martial ancestors. Over the countless years, there were many unexplainable legends left behind. The martial ancestor was the first person to establish Kunlun, and he was also the ancestor of the human race. He was the most powerful representative of martial strength, and he could shake 10,000 races by himself. He could be said to be the most powerful person in history, and no one could surpass his legend. The Kunlun Main Hall was a huge divine hall. There was a universe inside, and the space was huge. It could easily accommodate 10,000 people. Once one entered, they would be isolated from the world. The outside world would not be able to sense the situation inside the divine hall. On a majestic dragon throne sat a young man wearing ice divine armor. He had a faint smile on his face as he looked at the few elders below him. His eyes were filled with pride. He was the current sect master of Kunlun, Mingzi. The few people below were all highly respected supreme protectors of the heavenly transcendent sect. Sect master, why did you agree to Yang Wu's challenge? Wouldn't it be better to reject it directly and let him come to Kunlun to save people? That's right. Sect master has just ascended to the throne. You should win over the hearts of the people. Why should you disturb your state of mind because of these things? You should first settle the internal affairs, then settle the external affairs. Sect master, please reconsider. That Yang Wu's strength is not ordinary, but in my opinion, he is not a match for Sect Master. However, Sect Master's body is priceless, and it is not suitable for you to take risks. Why don't you wait until the martial sage assembly begins before you fight him? These Skirij guardians were all persuading Kuan Mingzi, hoping that he would not fight with Yang Wu. Kuan Mingzi's strength was very strong, and it was obvious to all. However, how weak was Yang Wu? However, Kuan Mingzi had lost to Yang Wu in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. They were worried that he would not be able to get rid of the knot in his heart and win. Instead, he would embarrass Kunlun or break his confidence. Kuan Mingzi smiled and said, "When he sent Chu Rong here, I knew that he would not take the risk to save people. That woman, Meng Bingxue, is not of much value." He paused for a moment and said, "I have only decided on 3 moves for this battle. No matter the outcome of the battle will stop. Guardians, do not worry. Sect Master is wise." Immediately, a guardian flattered. "Sect Master, why did you decide on 3 moves?" Another person asked, "Because I can kill Yang Wu in 3 moves. Ha ha ha. As the news of the battle between Yang Wu and Kuan Mingzi spread, many people quickly rushed to the peak of Kunlun. Kunlun Mountain was the world's number 1 divine mountain. It was the largest and tallest mountain, piercing through the clouds. Those who could rush here were at least saints. Those who did not reach this level could not get close at all. Firstly, the divine power of the divine mountain was boundless, and the pressure was immense. It was not something that ordinary people could get close to. Secondly, there were many powerful spirit beasts around. Without a certain level of strength, it was impossible to get there. The date of the battle had not yet arrived. Ancient chariots flew over one after another, and there were also experts riding spirit beasts. One could even see battleships descending. They were all people from the major forces and the rich and powerful families. To them, this battle was perhaps the warm-up battle before the martial sage assembly. It was also one of the most anticipated battles in the past 1,000 years. As the date of the battle approached, Yang Wu still did not appear. It was inevitable that they would be anxious. However, they did not think that Yang Wu did not have the courage to come to Kunlun. Who was Yang Wu? He was a fierce person who dared to lead a team to the Purple Firmament Palace. Naturally, he would not be afraid of such a battle. Where was Yang Wu now? Many experts who were hostile to Yang Wu were looking forward to his appearance. In this way, if Yang Wu was injured in this battle, they would not mind adding insult to injury and sending Yang Wu to the Western Paradise at the critical moment. 3 days before the battle, Kuan Mingzi appeared first. He wore an ice armor and sat on an ice dragon. He was majestic and awe-inspiring. When many holy maidens saw him, they were all smitten and did not know what he was talking about. Kunmingzi is so handsome, as expected of the man who can become the Kunlun sect master. It's rumored that he is not married yet. It should not be too late to become his cultivation partner, right? Yang Wu is also the man of our dreams. How can we change our minds at the sight of him? However, Kunmingzi does make people feel good just by looking at him. What should we do? A man like this is not someone we can touch. Unless we can keep up with their pace, don't be silly. Kunmingzi stood on the dragon's head and looked at the crowd. He cupped his hands politely at them and sat down on a rock. He began to become one with the heavens and earth. Being able to adapt to the battlefield in advance was very beneficial to the battle. After the crowd returned the greeting, they did not disturb him. The ice dragon guarded him from the left and right. No one dared to approach it. It seemed to be a heavenly god-level ice dragon. Its cold air was oppressive, and its might was frightening. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Yang Wu had not arrived yet, but the voices of others against Kunmingzi came. Kunmingzi, you are not worthy to be the Kunlun sect master. Someone shouted loudly. You killed our senior brothers. Wait for my brothers to fight you. Another person shouted. In Kunlun's territory, there were still people who dared to be so arrogant. Did they not want to live anymore? Everyone looked at the newcomers and saw 2 men who were stepping in the aura of a golden dragon rushing over quickly. Some people from Kunlun recognized who these 2 were and immediately exclaimed, Jin Yuchen, Jin Yuhao, you 2 are impudent. How dare you speak to the sect master like this? Kneel down and accept your death. The brothers Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao were known as the Golden Children of Kunlun. They had also won the top 100 in the battle between the dragons and the phoenixes. They had received the baptism of the Saint Transformation Pool and stepped into the celestial rune realm. Later on, they followed Yang Wu and their strength sword. After Yang Wu disappeared from the Purple Firmament Palace, the 2 of them did not return to the Yang family. Instead, they went to some dangerous places to train. The 2 brothers had also received resources from Yang Wu. Moreover, their opportunities were extraordinary. After not seeing each other for a few years, their strength had increased to the 6th level of the celestial rune realm. Among the younger generation, their speed of improvement could be said to be rapid. It was no wonder that they dared to challenge Kunmingzi. Several Kunlun saints surrounded the 2 of them. Kunmingzi said, Stop. The 2 of you have some prejudice against me. It's normal that you don't understand. When we return to the sect, I will personally explain it to you. What's there to explain? You conspired to seize the position of the sect master and subverted the sect. You're really hateful. You deserve to be killed. Jin Yuhao cursed. Junior brother Yuhao, are you sure you're not here to fight for Yang Wu? I heard that the 2 of you followed Yang Wu. Before the battle, you're disturbing my state of mind. What are your intentions? Kunmingzi replied with a sneer. After a pause, he said loudly, It's obvious who the traitor is. Jin Yuhao was instantly speechless. Jin Yuchen said in a low voice, We followed Yang Wu, but it doesn't mean that we betrayed Kunlun. We didn't do anything harmful to Kunlun. It's you who harmed my master. This hatred is absolutely irreconcilable. The 2 of them couldn't control themselves and came out first. It was because they knew about their master's death that they desperately scolded Kunmingzi in front of all the forces in the world and exposed his evil deeds. Your master only died in an accident. It has nothing to do with me. If you're still loyal to Kunlun, I can let bygones be bygones and let you return. If you intend to make trouble here, I don't mind taking you down before Yang Wu arrives. Kunmingzi said with a trace of killing intent. Jin Yuhao wanted to reply again, but Jin Yuchen stopped him and said, Let's wait for the Lord to arrive before we make a fuss. We can't take advantage of him here. Sigh, it's a pity that our master was harmed by this traitor. I hope that my Lord can slay him with a sword today. Jin Yuhao sighed heavily. Yes, if we brothers work together, we can also seek justice for him in the future. Jin Yuchen said confidently. At this time, a huge crow flew over from the horizon. Caw-caw. Chapter 1482. A huge crow flew over. Its body covered the sky, and the dark aura it emitted was shocking. Many of the spirit beasts around were so scared that their bodies went soft, and they almost fell from the sky. In addition, some of the saint-level humans also felt an inexplicable pressure, and their bodies couldn't help but sink. This was a powerful god-level crow. To the human race, seeing a crow was an unlucky thing. They wanted to see who was riding such a big crow. It's Yang Wu. He's here. When did Yang Wu get a big crow? Its aura is so strong. Isn't he afraid of bad luck? A crow? Did he prepare an escape route for himself? Is that why he brought a crow with him? Lower your voice. That's a scary crow. Don't get involved. The battle is about to start. Who's going to win? Yang Wu is so handsome. His aura is even stronger than Kuan Mingzi's. Yang Wu brought Meng Bingxue with him. Yu Huijin secretly followed him. He didn't bring anyone else. To him, this was just an ordinary battle. It wasn't worth making a fuss about. Furthermore, Kunlun Mountain was someone else's territory. No matter how many people he brought, it would be useless. He couldn't make a big fuss like he did when he went to Purple Cloud Palace. Going to battle with a light pack, he could fight or run. It couldn't be better. Yang Wu didn't immediately land in front of Kuan Mingzi. Instead, he flew to Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao and smiled. How are you? Greetings, my lord. The two brothers had long been impressed by Yang Wu. They didn't care about what others thought of them as they greeted Yang Wu. A few years ago, after my lord disappeared, we went to cultivate alone. We only heard about Yang Wu's return recently. Please forgive us, my lord, Jin Yuchen explained. Yang Wu waved his hand and said, I won't blame you. Even if you leave me now, I won't be angry. I'm just doing my job. He paused for a moment before continuing. However, your progress is not slow. Congratulations. It's all thanks to my lord's good nurturing. Jin Yuhao also gave a rare compliment. All right, you guys stay here. We'll leave together in a while. Yang Wu smiled and nodded. He brought Meng Bingxue and flew towards Kuan Mingzi, leaving Crow behind to protect Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao. The two brothers weren't stupid. After exchanging glances, their hearts completely calmed down. Yang Wu still wanted to protect them. Otherwise, once the battle was over, the people of Kunlun would definitely harm them. Bingxue, a long time no see. You didn't disappoint me. You managed to invite Yang Wu. Kuan Mingzi looked at Yang Wu and Meng Bingxue with a mocking smile. Kuan Mingzi, you're so cunning. Meng Bingxue cursed angrily. At this moment, she had confirmed that Kuan Mingzi was scheming against her. Haha, it's not that I'm cunning. It's just that you're so naive. Oh, I should say you're an idiot. You've been tricked so many times, yet you still don't learn your lesson. Kuan Mingzi mocked. He then looked at Yang Wu and said, Yang Wu, can't you see my intentions? Why did you come with her to die? Yang Wu smiled faintly and said, You can't kill me. How can you say you're going to die? Haha, aren't you afraid that I'll have a large number of sky-reaching guardians waiting to ambush you and kill you? Kuan Mingzi laughed wildly. If I was afraid, I wouldn't have come. You're so confident. Then let's fight. What's the rush? Let's talk about the conditions first. You should know why I've sent you a letter of challenge, right? Of course. Your Yang family's lackey barged into my Kunlun. It's too hateful. But since you're the leader of the Yang family, I naturally won't refuse. Bring him over. Kuan Mingzi raised his eyebrows and said. As soon as he said that, the people of Kunlun brought the tied-up Chu Rong over. Chu Rong was a Jade Moon expert. His aura had shrunk, and he was in a sorry state. His 4 limbs were broken. The people around were all moved by this scene. Kunlun didn't give a Yang family any face. They knew it was the Yang family, yet they still humiliated a Jade Moon expert like this. Both sides had completely shed all pretense of cordiality. It all depended on how the leader, Yang Wu, would deal with this. Yang Wu looked at Chu Rong and said calmly, I sent Chu Rong to Kunlun as a lobbyist. He has no reason to barge into your Kunlun. But since he is in your hands, you can say whatever you want. I will get justice for him. He paused for a moment and said, Bring Bao Tsai out too. I only want these 2 people for this battle. I wrote it clearly in my letter of challenge. You won't go back on your word, will you? Hee. Looks like the Yang family has spies in our Kunlun as well. I didn't catch the wrong person. Men, bring Bao Tsai out. Kuan Mingzi laughed evilly and ordered again. Then a woman was brought out. She was beaten to a pulp. Her life force was almost gone, and her strength was completely gone. She was clearly a cripple. Teacher, Kuan Mingzi, you bastard. You hurt my teacher like this. One day, I will not let you go. Meng Bingshua looked at Bao Tsai's state and said with grief and anger, if it weren't for you liking Yang Wu and causing Bao Tsai to betray Kunlun, we wouldn't have treated her like this. You are the culprit. Kuan Mingzi looked at Meng Bingshua and put the blame on her. Meng Bingshua's face became extremely pale. She weakly said, my teacher didn't betray Kunlun. It was you. You caused all of this. Yang Wu patted her shoulder and said, all right, you can leave now. Leave the rest to me. Meng Bingshua was sent back to Wu Guna's side. Yang Wu's move made everyone's eyes light up. I brought her to you. If you win, you take her away. If you lose, what will happen? Kuan Mingzi asked. You name your conditions. Yang Wu replied. Ah, good courage. If you lose, how about you be my servant? Kuan Mingzi said with a fierce expression. As soon as his words fell, it instantly caused 1,000 ripples. This new sovereign's tone is really big. He actually wants Yang Wu to be his servant. How daring. Looks like he's prepared. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to say something like this. This is equivalent to using Yang Wu's life to gamble for the lives of those two. No matter what the result is, Kunlun won't lose. What a good plan. Yang Wu won't agree. If it were me, I definitely wouldn't agree. How could a godly alchemist become someone's servant for someone else's life? That's right. This request is a bit too much. Meng Bingshua's face was pale. She realized that asking Yang Wu for help was a big mistake. This was indeed Kuan Mingzi's plan. Kuan Mingzi, one day, I will take you down with me. Meng Bingshua swore at her heart. She already hated Kuan Mingzi a lot. Now that he had set up Yang Wu, her hatred for him reached the limit. Just when everyone thought that Yang Wu wouldn't agree, Yang Wu said, all right, I'll do as you say. Everyone was shocked. Was Yang Wu crazy? Such an unfair bet. Why would he agree to it? Hi, you got guts. Then it's settled. Everyone will be the witness. I believe that even if you lose, you won't go back on your word, right? Kuan Mingzi laughed wildly. Aren't you the same? Yang Wu asked back. All right, then let's not talk nonsense. Let's begin. Kuan Mingzi said with high fighting spirit. In the next moment, his body emitted a terrifying, icy aura. His aura and strength rose steadily. The power of star runes appeared on his back. 1-star rune, 2-star runes, 3-star runes. It soared all the way to the 10th-star rune before it stopped. Everyone was completely stunned. How did Kuan Mingzi's strength rise so quickly? In just a few years, he had reached the peak of the star rune realm. No wonder he could become the Kunlun sect master. Snow and ice condensed around him. A chill spread out in all directions. Even the people far away felt the chill and couldn't help but shrink back. The world seemed to have turned into a land of ice, and the commotion it caused was simply too great. At this moment, they knew that Kuan Mingzi was so powerful. No wonder he was so confident when facing Yang Wu. Yang Wu was also astonished. He muttered in his heart, looks like I'm not the only one with great luck. All along, Yang Wu felt that he had great luck, which was why he was able to be a step ahead of others. Now, it seemed that there were many lucky people in the world. Kuan Mingzi was the best example. Of course, other than his luck, his talent was also terrifying. Yang Wu didn't want to be suppressed by Kuan Mingzi in terms of aura. The other party had already drawn his sword, so how could he keep a low profile? 9-star runes appeared on his back. These 9-star runes formed a starry path. Boundless star power gathered towards him. It was as if a true dragon or black tortoise had appeared behind him. His might was not inferior to Kuan Mingzi's at all. The two of them faced each other from a distance. The battle between a dragon and a tiger was about to begin. Just as they were about to fight, a voice rang out. Both of you are favored by the heavens. Why don't you sit down and have some tea? It's more comfortable to chat, right? A fat figure riding on a flying pig swept over. This person was dressed in a Taoist robe and held a horsetail whisk in his hand. The fat on his body was about to burst his loose Taoist robe. Just as the two of them were accumulating their strength and waiting to attack, they were disturbed by someone else. Their gazes turned serious, and their majestic auras crushed toward the person who had come. The person who disturbed their battle would have to suffer their wrath. I was just joking. Just joking. You guys continue. The fat Taoist, riding on the flying pig, let out a strange cry and quickly got away from them. Someone recognized the fat Taoist and couldn't help but exclaim, "Taoist pig from the divine divination tower." Chapter 1483. Taoist Zhu was actually called Taoist Zhu. However, most people preferred to call him Taoist Zhu or divine fortune teller Zhu. Not only was his surname Zhu, but his divinations were always inaccurate. Therefore, people called him Taoist Zhu or Fat Taoist. He was a weirdo in the transcendent realm. He had offended many powerful people in the past, but he had never been beaten to death. Therefore, everyone felt that his strength was unfathomable. However, they had never seen him use any of his peerless divine abilities. Therefore, no one was afraid of Taoist Zhu. When Yang Wu and Kuan Mingzi were about to fight, Taoist Zhu dared to interfere. He was quite bold. Without extraordinary strength, who would dare to interfere with a battle between two peerless geniuses? Taoist Zhu retreated. However, Kuan Mingzi had no intention of letting him go. "How dare you interfere in our battle? You can be spared from death, but you must be punished." After saying that, he pointed a finger at Taoist Zhu. An icy finger shot towards Taoist Zhu. The finger beam was astonishingly fast. Furthermore, it carried with it an icy aura. In the blink of an eye, it was in front of Taoist Zhu. Taoist Zhu could not dodge it and was hit by the finger beam. He and the flying boar were instantly frozen. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect Taoist Zhu to be frozen just like that. Could it be that he did not live up to his reputation? Before they could come back to their senses, the frozen power on Zhu Taoist's body instantly exploded. "So what if you're the sect leader of Kunlun? I am the friend of your sect leader 2 generations ago. How can you attack me? I have divined that you will definitely lose this battle," Taoist Zhu said unhappily. He rode on the flying boar and kept retreating. He did not take revenge on Kuan Mingzi. The flying boar also cried out a few times in dissatisfaction. Its clumsy body swayed as it flew away. It looked very comical. Taoist Zhu has never been able to predict accurately. Could it be that sect leader Kuan Mingzi will definitely win this battle? Someone asked doubtfully. That's right. Taoist Zhu's divination must be reversed. Looks like Yang Wu will lose this battle for sure, someone else chimed in. For a moment, Kuan Mingzi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He had been divined to lose, but in the eyes of others, it was a sure win situation. This was too funny. I will definitely win this battle. No one could change that. Kuan Mingzi shouted, and his aura returned to its peak. He stared at Yang Wu and shouted, "Yang Wu, take my first move. Finger of Frost." Kuan Mingzi put his right index finger and middle finger together and pointed at Yang Wu. This was his first move, an incomparably terrifying finger beam. They had only agreed that it would end after 3 moves. No matter the outcome, it would end. Therefore, he didn't hold back. Just because it was a finger technique didn't mean it was weak. If that was the case, then it would be a big mistake. This was a divine finger technique that contained the power of absolute frost. A single finger could freeze an area of 100 miles. Any living thing that came into contact with this absolute frost would have no chance of survival. This wasn't the same attack as the one from Taoist Zhu. It was more than 10 times stronger. Kuan Mingzi attacked as soon as he said he would. In the eyes of others, it was too sudden. However, in a battle between experts, victory and defeat were decided in an instant. Whoever underestimated their opponent deserved to lose. Yang Wu didn't pay much attention to Taoist Zhu. The moment Kuan Mingzi attacked, he also attacked. His opponent had the power of absolute frost, but he also had the power of magnetism. He also shot out a magnetic sword finger. The power of the magnetic sword wasn't any weaker than the power of absolute frost. Boom! The power of the two finger beams fiercely collided. In an instant, a dazzling light flashed, forcing everyone to close their eyes. It was difficult to see which of the two fingers was stronger. When the power of the two fingers scattered, everyone came back to their senses. Yang Wu and Kuan Mingzi were facing each other from afar. They didn't retreat from their original positions. Clearly, neither of them could do anything to the other. Eat my fist. Yang Wu took the initiative to attack for the second move. Martial God Fist's third move, Jinwu Fist. This was a fist technique that Yang Wu created himself. It was also the fist technique that he was most familiar with. The path of Jinwu descended. The sun and moon rotated. It was as if the Jinwu Great Emperor had appeared. There was also a black tortoise breaking out of the water. This fist seemed to be able to split the sky and the earth. Yang Wu did not hold back when he attacked. The power in his dantian exploded, and the power of the stars in the sky continued to gather, forming a terrifying holy power. With his powerful physical strength superimposed, he could destroy a strong warrior of the Jade Moon Plane with one punch. When the Tantian of Kunlun saw Yang Wu's powerful fist, he was shocked. If it were them, they might not be able to take this fist. The other warriors were scared by Yang Wu's fist. They couldn't stabilize their bodies. This was the power of Tongtian. It wasn't something that Tongtian elites could withstand. At this moment, they saw Yang Wu's powerful fighting strength. Since Kunming Zi dared to come to his rescue, his strength would not be too weak. He wiped away his arrogant look and shouted, Yang Wu, no matter how strong you are not my opponent because I am born with the ice soul godly body. In the next moment, a peerless power surged out of his body. Snow fell from the sky. He waved his arms and created a world of frost. Frost Lake. This was Kuan Mingzi's innate power. This innate power had entered the second stage. It might even be the third stage. Otherwise, it wouldn't have such an imposing aura. Frost Lake and Jinwu Fist collided fiercely. It was as if the sky was about to collapse. Countless ice shards splashed out. There was also a blue light like fireworks. It was extremely beautiful. Kuan Mingzi gathered his divine power in Frost Lake. He could also explode with the power of a Jade Moon Elite. He thought that he could completely crush Yang Wu. However, he underestimated Yang Wu. Yang Wu had been tempered by the 9 Thunder Body Tempering Technique and the Void Body Tempering Technique. His physical strength could kill a Jade Moon Elite. When he could also explode with his profound chi, he could fight a mid-level Jade Moon Elite. What could Kuan Mingzi use to fight him? Frost Lake was destroyed by Yang Wu's fist. The fist light landed heavily on Kuan Mingzi's body and sent Kuan Mingzi flying. Bang! Kuan Mingzi's body was sent flying like a cannonball. The people of Kunlun panicked. The other people also had an incomparably shocked look on their faces. The strength that Kunming Zi had displayed was already amazing enough. However, Yang Wu's strength had actually reached this level. The disparity between the two of them was too obvious. Yang Wu didn't take advantage of the situation to chase after him. There was a cold air coming towards him. This cold air was different. It actually contained traces of ice poison. It was corroding his physical body and power. Perhaps this was the trick that Kunming Zi dared to boast about. This ice poison was not ordinary. It was like an ice snake biting his body. It made him feel extremely uncomfortable. He had no choice but to use the power of Blue Enchantress and Underworld Mysterious Essence Chi to deal with this ice poison. This guy still has a trick up his sleeve. Yang Wu thought to himself, even a Jade Moon Elite would have a hard time dealing with this ice poison. It would take some time for him to completely get rid of it. Kuan Mingzi rushed back. There was blood at the corner of his mouth, but he didn't look like he was seriously injured. The ice armor on his body had blocked most of the power for him. Now you can't use the third move, right? Then die. Kuan Mingzi laughed wildly. He finally took out his weapon. This was the last move. Naturally, he had to use his most powerful trump card. He held an ice divine sword in his hand. Boundless cold air gathered around him. An ice lotus battle pattern appeared on his forehead. This was the strength of his divine body. There was an ocean of energy erupting from his body. The power of the stars shooting down from the 9 heavens was shockingly majestic. The surrounding 100 miles was filled with the power of ice, forcing the onlookers to retreat again and again. Most people could not withstand the cold air. Every divine body was different from the others. Kunmingzi's divine body had the power of ice. He hadn't used his strongest move yet. Layers of ice crystals kept forming and spreading in all directions. Yang Wu couldn't retreat. If he did, he would lose. Kunmingzi attacked. Whoosh! The sword slashed down. The sword light turned into a huge ice crystal and slashed towards Yang Wu. The cold sword was like a mountain. One sword, one mountain. This was Kunmingzi's peerless sword power. Even a Jade Moon expert would die under this sword. He was sure that Yang Wu had been poisoned. Even if Yang Wu had heaven-defying methods, he couldn't get rid of it in a short time. His sword was enough to take Yang Wu's life. Moreover, when he attacked, his battle mark also shot out an invisible cold air. It froze Yang Wu's divine court. It was a two-pronged attack. Yang Wu didn't have any chance of survival. Yang Wu, Meng Bingxue shouted in panic. If something happened to Yang Wu, she didn't want to live anymore. The others also saw that Yang Wu was in a bad situation. The sword was about to fall, but he still hadn't counterattacked. Moreover, there was something like an ice snake wrapping around his body, which made them feel bad. Was Yang Wu going to lose? You're a good opponent. Unfortunately, your methods are inferior. You're still not worthy of my respect. Yang Wu faced this attack and said indifferently. He finally fought back. The power of the immortal root exploded. The ice poison wrapping around his body seemed to have met its nemesis. It instantly withered and was expelled. In the next moment, Yang Wu also pulled out his Big Dipper sword and returned a sword strike to Kunmingzi. When this sword strike was used, everyone was stunned. This sword strike was exactly the same as Kunmingzi's. It was also a sword like a mountain. The only difference was that Kunmingzi's sword was a snow-white ice mountain, while Yang Wu's was an ice mountain with the power of the underworld. The two ice mountains fiercely collided with each other like two dragons, and an earth-shattering sound rang out. Countless ice cubes crazily exploded, and many ice cubes splashed in all directions. If one was hit by the ice cubes, even if they didn't die, they would be seriously injured. Rumble, rumble.